Was asked for the second time. Bennett was asked and put a super chat in here. So we're getting to our fans. I don't know how we missed it, but we will talk about VRT. Apologies for not getting to it the first time through. So there was a headline with VRT. There's a reason why it's down 10%, and you see a candle like this. Amazon essentially saying they are going to be using its own denser, more powerful chips for designing yada yada, completely custom liquid cooling system in data centers. So if Amazon's going to do it on its own and you were relying on them, that's going to be bad for the stock, obviously. But if you're wondering why the stock is getting cratered today, that is it. Apologies for not getting to it.
Yeah, no problem. So there's the response there, the yada, 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 yada. What for lunch right now? Okay, we got actually a special one today on what is for lunch. So thank you, Joe, for reminding us. Today, this ain't my Nona, I'll promise you that, but it says right here, Nona's meatballs with spicy homemade marinara sauce. That's nice. With a little bit of penne there as well with roasted asparagus and Caesar salad. That is what is for lunch. All right, man, I'm out of here. It's been a great day. Thank you to everybody. Let's throw it to the midday. Let's go. I'm off to the gym.
Go get them, boys.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. Boom! Right there is your boy Joey Dang Options. And I'm Sharif. And I'm already getting amped up because we're already in a position QTTB. We'll get to that one in a second. Just hope I don't get stopped out. Oh boy. We took some prints and now it looks like we're gonna get stopped out. But let's do the roll call. Your boy Joey Options. Shout out to Scott H. Daily Day Trade. How about Cisco? D Loaf. He migrated. We got YV. We got Thomas. We got Jorge Alvado. Shout out to Fiddlebeck. Andrew Chow. Monty G. We got Vern. We got Ronaldo. 420. Bud Monster. We got Ray 2885, Mr. Easy Street. That sounds like a great life there. VM Trader Shadow 7S7. We got Greg Saluzzi, Ash M, Dude 5, and we got Hip Patrick Clement as well joining us in the chat. Shout out to CompuCare team and Uplift Markets. Lisberto Calvo, sure. Mike P. DeRido. Shout out to you, my man. We got who else here? Why not? Freddie Fulcrum, Ali Who. Gray Worm. Gray Worm. Shout out to Gray Worm and Big Perm. We got Ryan, Sonny, Little Tree, Alton, Roberto Enrique, my man, is in the house. Love Lynn, Thomas, the bros. Yes, the bros are back. One more here. Ren Tree. Shout out to Ren Tree, man. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic morning on these here markets. We got a lot of stuff moving. The market overall is moving. Most of these major averages are green except the NQ, down a third of a percent. The small caps are moving, and we're going to be keeping an eye on all this. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, always. Good morning. All right, guys. Yeah, let's talk about what we got going on. Bitcoin. Let's go. We're looking for the continuation in strength. Neo had this trade, and he punched right back in. But we cooled off right there with this IBIT trade, punching through the volume-weighted average price. As the market was selling off, Bitcoin was holding up relatively well, and then we're just looking for the continuation in strength. We're not complicating the system whatsoever. So that's what we had on IBIT. But then also, we took some DAL. This is a good quality setup. We know that they beat on EPS in line with revenue and some good looks for forward outlooks as well, too, there on DAL. Come on, pull it up there for me, please, and thank you. Okay, there we go. Not so embarrassing anymore. And there it is. We go, we hop in right here, we add, and then we just piece it out there. And just continuing to be strong, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if DAL took an additional leg higher. So those were the only two trades we put on this morning, DAL and IBIT. But I am noticing we do have a couple super chats already. Dang. They were flowing in on the earlier show today, guys. But now it's our time to shine. Yo, boys, also, does anyone know how profitable Sean is per month? I saw something they showed on stream last month saying he's up 54%. Okay, you think he's up 54%? Maybe he's up a little bit more. I don't know. We can't disclose that, all right? But thank you very much for that super chat. SRM got stuck at 850. Where is it going? That is a great question, because if I knew, I would make a whole heap of money, Sharif. Let's find out and see what we got going on. SRM Entertainment. rejecting that. $8 apparently. I don't see that. Stuck at 850. SRM is not at 850, at 660, if anything, and fairly illiquid. But let's zoom out quick, Sharif, before we send it back to you, my guys, so we can see what you got going on with your small caps. Ooh, okay. So maybe you get a bounce off of these support levels in the continuation, but right now you are at the lower end of the range, and just be cautious because this might break down and enter this gap here. But if it does decide to break up, then sure enough, you are going to be looking pretty good there, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let's just talk about the first one right away. Took an L. QTTB. Oh, yeah, that's the way it works, Joseph.
Exactly.
So we took an L over here, added initially on the breakout, and then we took a couple of scalps, added back into the, I believe, yes. So this was a $0.50, and there was resistance there initially. So I front ran it a little bit. Then there was a last add at the volume weighted average price, and neither of them held. It lost VWAP, but it did find support at the 10 exponential. That's not how I trade. I don't base my support and resistance off the 10 when it is below the volume weighted average price, but maybe I should have because it is heading back to the upside. Now I'm looking at eToro. Okay, so this one's got good support here at 3. It does have some lower highs. It is a little spready, not huge spready, and it's getting away from me here. I'm trying to get in. Look, that's the second order that won't fill on eToro right now, so we're not able to get in any, despite the fact that we are sitting right at the mid print between the ask and the bid. So there we go. We get the first fill there at 08. We'll let this one trigger at 3. So Toro, T-O-R-O. I think it's like some Cypriot company. I thought it was eToro for a second there, but it is not. It's some company out of Cyprus. So this one's up 35, almost 36% off the high there of 318, showing me 306 currently. We're keeping an eye on this one, looking at adding more, and I'll defend this one no problem into the 10 exponential, into the volume weighted average price. So let's go ahead and throw some orders on this one. We'll layer the orders up in 215. I'm also keeping an eye on ASST, another strong one, just got off the high, 699 high a day. It's showing me 96 is right now on the ask, so this one could be another one. It's also well extended away from the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, so another good one to keep your eye on. ASST, it's a former convict that we know a lot about. And there it is, right back 1 penny off that HOD. We'll keep an eye on that one. I want to mention also ABVE. This thing is insane. 355%, having started out its life today as a penny stock at around 35 or 37 pennies. It is up decidedly on the day. As I mentioned, 360%. Into the high there of 175, currently showing me 168. This one's been very respectful for the most part of the 10 exponential. You got that touch, quick touch at 1055, right off the 10 EMA on the 5, and up it goes. And it is taking out highs here, Joseph. There it is, a new high of day, on ABVE into that $1.80. This one's all gas, no brakes, man, but always be careful with these ones. The volume is ample here. It's a 205 million shares traded on the day. Obviously, it's a penny stock, so, that is the situation. Okay, so we took a quick print there on Toro, but look at AST. ASST just flew up from the 690 that we were just talking about it at, and now it's at the high of the day of 714. So this one is also on that good stuff. Be careful with these, as I always say. And I'm also looking at these ones as well. Hertz, HTZ, kind of putting in a bull flag, finding support at the volume weighted average price with an 844 high, currently showing me 820. I like the respect of the 10 EMA with a possible flat top break here through 825. I'm going to work into Hertz, having seen that. Also, LXRX, one that we talked about yesterday. This had a good day. It is lightly traded, but a respectable pattern and not breaking down. Have a look at yesterday's price action. It clears the dollar, and then it ends up holding the dollar on the close. In fact, it closed at $1.07, so well above the dollar, and today holds yesterday's highs and makes newer ones with a 119 high of day on LXRX. And last but not least here, Joseph, we're looking at PROK. Look at this buy program, essentially off that 4.5. Basically started out at 1020. It is also at the high of the day. This one's in play now for me because it cleared the pre-market high at Dara.
Hi, Sharif. I just want to mention here that we have some comments coming through from Jamie Dimon, who is, of course, the JP Morgan CEO. And one thing he said might not be super I guess, liked by President Donald Trump. He just said that, Jamie Dimon just said that he would price in a 40 to 50% chance of higher U.S. interest rates. We know this is not necessarily what the market's looking for or what's necessarily being priced in, but just be aware here. Jamie Dimon apparently, I guess, saying here that he would price it at 40 to 50% chance of higher U.S. interest rates. It's unclear what the timeline is on that. I also want to mention GeoOGL. Sundar Pichai, CEO, just sharing that apparently over 40 million videos have been created with Google's AI video model VO since May. So since their I.O. event in May, apparently over 40 million videos have been created with the model. Back to you.
They're much appreciated, guys. All right, let's go over the top performing sectors of the day. In first place, we have healthcare up about 1.5%. In second place, Sharif, can you guess? Yes, you're right. It's materials up 1%. Consumer discretionary also up 1% as well, too, guys. From third last to last, we got utilities holding on to the green up about 1/5%. Ooh, but the tech. Technologia.
Love that. Technologia, yes, Joseph.
The technologia sector down 0.5%, and the communications sector also down 0.5%. I've seen so many in the chat say that yesterday, and I'm like, yes, technologia.
And the other guy like responding, he's so happy. I don't know what kind of language they're talking there at the end. It's like
technologia. So technology is down. That is the new name of this sector here, guys. Down 0.5%. Communications down. Roughly the same thing here on the day. So the only two red ones here on the session so far. With that being said, let's take a look at some of the bigger names. We're going to take a rip on META. Let's take a look on what my guy Meta is up to. It's the one holding me up in our Jimmy Carter race here. So thank you for that, Zuck and company. Down on the session. Is the street worried about the CapEx? Nah, I don't think so. We'll get an ROI on that eventually. But here it is. Now rejecting the volume weighted average price, helping the Qs move a little bit lower. And then let's move forward and take a look at goggles and see what Google is up to. All right, we're now back to 175. This is going to be a key zone here, guys, this pre-market consolidation. You can see we're knocking on that door. No one's answering just yet. So we're continuously rejecting this here. But if it breaks through, watch out. You might get that big-time move in GOOGL. One more before we send it back to Sharif, and that is going to be my guy IBIT. Heading back towards the volume-weighted average price. We don't love this. A lot of weakness within these bullish prints here, guys. So just keep that in mind. If we crack this support level, then we're going to probably look for some more downside on that one. And your boy just bought a bunch of more contracts last night and this morning. I shouldn't say a bunch more, but I do have a handful of them now. So we're talking about almost just under 1,000 total shares of IBIT your boy is rolling with right now. So let's see. I mean, hey, if you want to win big, you got to swing big, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to get that additional move here in Bitcoin.
All right, guys, couple of positions to update you on. Toro, we took Prince into the high of the day. It's got a 318 high, coming back down into 3. So let's see how this cookie crumbles. Let's defend. I'm looking to defend this area. We'll see if it ends up holding up here or what the situation is. eToro, guys, sorry. TORO on the NQ up about 35%. I got into Hertz looking for a flat top break through 825. I perceive this to be doing a bit of an ascending wedge using the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 as its support. I also like what it's done with VWAP at around $8, 803 or so. There is support there. So I'm going to look to basically, if this one loses it, I'd like to defend into the volume weighted average price. So I'm going to go ahead with an order there. So that's what I'm looking at right now. QTTB, we're back into that one as well, as it's right back above the volume weighted average price. We're in at 42s. It's showing me 43s. I'm looking for this one to kind of try to work its way back up. I've got my out on prior bar low, so it's going to have to hold up at these levels. But I feel like I've been trading the wrong ones. Just full disclosure, okay? I don't know why I insisted on getting into the ones that we're retracing, but ABVE is up over 400% now. It's halted to the upside at $1.87, 187, a little ominous, but that's where it's halted currently, showing me a top of 188, so about a penny higher than where we closed. This one halted at 1113.39, so it's like 2 minutes deep, give or take. Let's see how this one does. It's been very, very strong on the day. And then its other good-looking cousin over here, ASST, not up nearly as much, but very directional as well. And we got an explosive breakout here on AST off the $7 area with a 740 high. This is really all gas, no brakes right now on ASST. Fantastic look there. Let's see where we can pick this one up off. I'm keeping my eye on it on the 5-second chart above. Let's see if this one wants to kind of get going here. But it's Toro losing that $3 level. So I have the 10 exponential moving average at 297. That's exactly where it's at right now. But VWAP not far behind in the low to mid 80s, showing me 283 right now. So I'm going to wait at, let's just go 86s so we can front run it. The volume weighted average price, looking to pick it up there. So that's what I'm looking at there. Let's quickly go back over here to HTZ. Still has a seller at 22s, 25s, give or take, that we can't really shake. So keeping my eye on that, Joe.
Yeah, guys, let's look at the tape here on IBIT, getting really, really strong. Look at all these orders coming in, slightly aggressive, and you can see this bounce right off of the volume weighted average price here, guys. So let's see if we can get a continuation in this strength and blow past this day high of the day, guys. And I think if we do clear that, then there's going to be some nice room to run here, and that's what we're looking for. So a good bounce in IBIT. Right now, it's relatively choppy. We're trading within a range, but if it does break out, just be prepared. And that volume is slowly starting to kick in here on the lower time frames, and that's exactly what we want to look for, right? So you have an additional test of the VWAP, and it's like, we're not going anywhere south of that right now. So I think this could be a good potential move. We stalled right there, so this could be a double top. But if this move goes past this, then watch out. Watch out, as one of my favorite albums of all time. But there it is. A nice look on IBIT. Now, I know a lot of people in the chat were talking about the airlines. I was looking at AAL and DAL, just because AAL more of a sympathy play here, and it traded really nice here on the morning, guys. So you can see that morning pullback leading right into the open, about 40 minutes or so. You get that pullback. That is exactly what I personally like to see for a continuation, and then boom, as soon as you breach the volume weighted average price, you're all the way up here. So a really nice look on AAL and some of these airlines. Adara, what do you got for us?
I have some news on Intel, and news is kind of a light word here. I want to be very clear, provide lots of caveats. Semi-Accurate, which is I guess a tech news reporting site, and that is their name. They reported here, or they released this headline. It says, and I quote, Intel tapes out a major product. That is the whole headline. That's also basically the whole story. They said no hints. This is all it is. So the thing with Semi-Accurate is tend to be very coy, for lack of a better term, about their news stories. They'll tease things, but they won't really tell you anything. With regards to Intel, I looked up what taping out means. So basically, that's going to be the final stage of a chip's design, where it's completed and it's ready for manufacturing. So seems like Intel could have a major product ready to go, according to the Semi-Accurate report. And again, Semi-Accurate is the agency, but there's not a lot of details. Again, the headline, though, is Intel tapes out a major product. Back to you.
One more thing before we send it back to you there, my brother Mang. There it is. Let's see if Tesla's going to break. You can see this bull flag starting to be formed, and we're starting to print all of these higher lows as well. So that's a positive sign. Maybe we can get involved here, start small, and then you just have your stop loss at the volume weighted average price. So give it about 10, 13 cents on this one. If it really starts to work, then you want to try to increase that risk to reward and head on towards the high of the day, or even $11 here on TSLL. But Bitcoin is looking pretty good, and that's exactly what we want to see right now, Sharif.
Yes, sir. All right, just fixing up my positions here. Let me just layer the orders on QTTB, looking to wet the beak there as it's still dancing around the volume weighted average price. Let's see how this cookie wants to crumble. 25 gets me out of this trade, a loss of $2.25. It looks like it might lose it over here. There it is. So we're out of this one again. So QTTB 0 for 3. That's it. It loses its spot on the side chart. Can't keep taking hits on this one. So looking for a different one here that we're going to replace it with. If you guys are seeing any of the small cap gappers that I haven't seen on the day, definitely tag me. Let me know which ones you guys are looking at, because QTTB just lost its spot and it's not going to be on there again. So now what I'm keeping my eye on is ABVE. This one's above $2, so it's time for me to load this one on the 5-second so I can get a better gander of how this one is trading. I see personally 185, around 187. There is that halt level that we were previously halted at. There was a good support level there, so that's where I'm going to be keeping my my eye on for an intraday area of support around $1.85. Currently showing me $1.95 with a bit of a topping tail candle preceding it, and this candle has a lower low and lower high. Adair.
Be aware here, we have more cautious, to put it mildly, comments coming from Jamie Dimon, that is, of course, the CEO of JP Morgan. He said that, quote, JP Morgan won't do well if the U.S. doesn't do well. And based on some of his, I guess, comments here, it doesn't seem like he thinks the U.S. is going to do particularly well. He did say, I mentioned earlier, he said he's pricing in a 40 to 50% chance of higher interest rates in the U.S., though he didn't really specify a timeline for this as far as I can see. And he also said that tariffs are, in his opinion, inflationary, and they're not going to come all at once. The impact will be felt over a period of time. So cautious comments, again, coming here from JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon. JPM and Watch, and as Sean mentioned a couple times today, they have earnings on Tuesday morning. Back to you.
Yes, sir.
You got anything over
yeah, let's go ahead. I'll talk here about, I set up a dip trade now on ASST. So this one got to 745 high, well extended away from the 10 exponential. So I'm looking for a bit of a pullback here. Now, oftentimes when a stock is really strong, like ASST is on the day, we don't get a move right back into the 10. So I'm looking to front run it a little bit. I put my order in at 707 is where I've set up my dip trade on this one. Let's see if it triggers and comes back down. Currently still putting in a higher low on this current 5-minute candle as compared to the previous candle low. So the previous candle low 720, this current candle 725. So we're still putting in higher lows, not necessarily higher highs, as the high of the day belongs to this green candle over here on the 5-minute chart. So that's what I'm looking at there. ABVE is halted to the downside, but still well above the 10, well above the 20, well above VWAP, and more importantly for me, above this 170 area. There was 170, 160. It's kind of hard to tell because the wicks and the closing prints are not jiving there, but there was this kind of the top end of the bull flag, I want to say, at $1.60, and then we get the break above the top end of the range of the flag component, and then we move all the way up into the high of the day around 212. So if we pull back in to 160s over here, that could be another interesting area of support. I'm going to pack my patience on that one. I'm still waiting on my DCA on Hertz. There we go. We just actually got it, 814. Now it's going to have to actually hold the volume weighted average price. It's got lower highs, so there has to be support here. Otherwise, I'm out. So HTZ, whatever reason, up 13% on the day. It's had support umpteen amount of times at around 805, with the volume weighted average price being at 8. So it loses that. That's the end of the trade there. So I'm keeping my eye for possible entry on ABVE as well as ASST, Joseph.
Good luck. Did you just call me a jive turkey?
I didn't.
No. It's from a movie. It's from a movie.
I know where that. I know that's like 70s, right?
Yeah, it's like
very
70s, bro. Yeah, he's like, no. He's like, no. I didn't call. He didn't call you a jive turkey. He didn't call you a jive turkey. He said you have nice pants. All right. Yeah, it's wild.
How does he get that from that?
I don't know.
Amazing.
That's the whole comical part of it, right? Obviously.
I like it.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so this is what we got going on, guys. You can see that we punched through that level here on IBIT, and then now we're kind of coming right back in. So you got that move into 63.40. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, maybe we're going to start rolling now, but that's not necessarily the case. So we're going to keep our eyes here on IBIT. If it's worked once, you just want to continuously try to hammer that trade. And Neil's like, yeah, Joe, did you get back in? And I'm like, no, kind of kicking myself on that one, but that's okay. We'll find something else. And that's going to be Tesla. I'm really curious to what's going to happen on this wedge here. You can see we'll just draw some basic trend lines to see which way we could potentially go. And as long as we continue to hold this, then I think we'll be sitting in a good position for it to potentially break out. So lower end of the range, I can start positioning my trade right now, start really small, because you do have a defined risk profile, all right? So just keep that in mind. It's just using the risk to reward. But we need the cues to start to participate. And if NVDA wants to continue to be weak on the session, then that's not going to be very good for our Tesla trade. So patience will be the name of that game, waiting for an entry on Tesla, lower end of the range. And the longer we hold VWAP, the more I like that trade, all right? So keep that in mind. If there's anything specific you guys want me to go over, let's do that. But why is NVDA so weak? Let's go over a couple things, and it's just going to be the same narrative that we continuously talk about time and time again. You know what I mean? I got to stop doing that, man. My brain just automatically goes to song for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Get it, Adara.
Okay, let's digress a little bit here, Sharif. Why do I love that song? Napoleon Dynamite, one of the greatest movies of all time. When they're at the disco, they're having a good time playing that one. But here it is, guys. I mean, 165, we couldn't break that here on NVDA, and that size of open interest is drastically starting to increase. What is that? That's a call wall. So you run into 165, no, see you later. We're going to head a little bit lower. The hedges are putting downward pressure on the stock, and then that's why you can see we put in a high of the day of roughly around 164.83, and then we essentially haven't even tested that level since. So keep that in mind. Keep your eyes on these call and put walls. They definitely help, guys.
Shout out to Paul Wall. All right. Yeah. We're looking at Hertz over here. I'm keeping my eye because now it's a 2-candle hold up off the volume weighted average price, but no higher high. So it's showing me 8.10s right now. We're long 14, so we're already 4 pennies out of the money. Let's see how this one ends up doing. I'm still waiting on ABVE. It looks like this one will be, well, no. It halted at 22.49. It is currently 27. So this one will open at the earliest, 27.49. Let's see when it opens. I'm waiting for this bad boy over here. I'm also long ASST, smaller position because we're punching in at highs. I'm leaving my DCA down here, active to defend the 10. Why I got in here is because we were putting in higher lows on the candles, not necessarily higher highs, but we got a bunch of higher lows. So we're showing 735 now. Let's see if we can take out the seller at 35. It's about a 2-penny spread on this bad boy. It's not too bad, but it's not the greatest either. Certainly a seller here of note at 35 that we can't really shake. High of the day, though, is 45. Let's go quickly back to ABVE, as that one should be opening up any second in 1, 2, there it is. Okay, good, perfectly right on time. Keeping my eye now on the 5-second chart. There's certainly support at 80s as we talked about because that was a halt level, and there it goes up again. Now, where are the area resistance? Well, we've got resistance, obviously, at the $2 level being the whole dollar level, but the high of the day, 212, that will be the ultimate resistance level. Let's see if we can get anything above 190 or so. If we can get something above 190, I'll try to give this one some room. But yeah, it's not exactly popping back up here. I thought it would be met with some more buying right off the open, but not really. And it's actually kind of breaching here now the halt level. Not much, zigging and zagging at that halt level. So there is some buying and selling equilibrium. What I'm looking at, guys, is my top monitor where I'm monitoring the 5-second chart. I've been trying to use the 5-second chart to gauge kind of where the areas of support and resistance are, at least locally, rather than, looking at the level 2 and then losing the level. So this one is dropping down below 180, trying to find support at the 75-penny area. My question to myself is, do I stick with that earlier area of support that I was talking about, like a $1.60 to $1.65, owing to the top end of the bull flag over here? That's the only thing that I'm kind of unsure about here. So keeping my eye on ABVE, looking for the right area and the right time to jump in, Joe.
Good look there, guys. All right, so I'm in at 1073. We're only going to give this 10 cents or so. So we come back into the volume-weighted average price. I'll just hop out. As the market is moving higher, Tesla is selling. So that's not something that we want to see, and that is not a good signal of strength, all right? So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to take too many attempts on this name, considering what's going on with it. A little bit of negative sentiment on the stock. So as soon as we come into 63s, I'm out of that. AC Slater, because Bitcoin's moving well, and so are some of the airlines, and we want to just stick to things that are continuously working for us. So don't know why I necessarily took this trade. I am looking for the breakout, so you have to take those shots, otherwise you're just going to miss all of those opportunities. And I'm like, I didn't do it on IBIT, which I should have, but this one I'm like, all right, let's get involved. If we do decide to break out, volume kicks in, then we can also add into this position, aim for that high of the day. But now we are at the lower end of the range, and it doesn't look like we have any buyers stepping in. A weak tape, and it's also slightly mixed, so a lot of in between the bid and ask, and then not much flushes to the top side. So that's what we want to see for signals of strength as the overall market is slowly climbing higher. Gorev says he's in some NVDA, nice, from the lows. Good look there, brother. Look for that move right into the volume-weighted average price, and you might get that. But this is going to be a key resistance zone right here. As you can see, we've knocked on that door multiple times, and no one's answered. So a lot of resistance there. Be patient. Maybe you get that volume to step in. You punch through those levels. You head into VWAP, and then you look to take some profits up there. But, guys, we have a poll up. If you had to pick one, which would you trust more? The trend, a key support and resistance level, the market sentiment, your own research? That's a great question. Oh, wow, I wish or all of the above. We should have threw all of the above in there. I'm going to go with market sentiment. I think that's going to be a good one. And Bitcoin just punched through that high. Let's go. Good luck there, Sharif.
All right, man. I'm still keeping my eye here on the positions that I'm still in. Nothing's new. We're still in Toro. We're still in Hertz, still in ASST. Nothing really to report there. We're 1 penny in the money on ASST, but this one is kind of putting in a flag now. So it's lower highs on 4 straight candles with that same area low. So I'm actually thinking possibly about flattening out here on ASST, knowing that, you know, it can bull flag and it can certainly hold a particular area. But look, straight up, we're negatory on the day. So can't, you know, my read here is not as clean as I would like it to be. And I haven't chosen the right ones to trade so far. So there have been ones that have been breaking out and I haven't been a part of them. So I'm going to leave this order active. I'm going to defend it into the 10 exponential, which is showing me 711 right now. So that's going to require me moving up my order from the 707 that I currently had it at. So let's go ahead and cancel that 707 order, and we're going to sit at let's go 7. Yeah, we'll go 712, give or take around that area. So that's what we'll do there and see if we can get that area defend. Toro is also coming down, but I'm looking at defending this one into the volume weighted average price. Volume weighted average price 284. I'm waiting at 286s, so let's see if we get that one. And then last but not least is HTZ. Where's my HTZ trade at? Dang it, literally get stopped out of this? Oh goodness, I gotta clean up my stops. Yes, so this one coming into the volume weighted average price with lower lows and lower highs. Let's see how this one does. QTTB did pop up. Again, I hope you guys didn't get caught in that. I'm going to tell you guys, I don't think QTTB is the one today. Popped up, popped right back down. So just be careful with that one, guys. It doesn't look like it's got the direction today. ABVE, we took like a quick 5 penny loss on this one as it didn't continue on. So I got stopped out immediately on this one. So it's a bit of a tougher trading day for me to start over here, but we'll continue to stay positive and continue to keep our eye on the ones that are that should be traded on. So we'll keep that in mind, Joseph. For
sure, brother. That's the name of the game. You can definitely catch that one back. You've done it before. So yeah, that's what we got going on with Tesla. Sucks to suck. I mean, you're breaking down. We could get back in on the lower end of the ranges, but why am I going to try continuously on something that I don't have too much confidence in, especially from a daily standpoint as well too. We can zoom out and take a look at what's going on with TSLA. A really strong opening drive, and I mean this trend may still be holding, but I just don't have too much confidence in this name right now. And sure enough, there it is there. We're popping right back up. We did run into, I think, roughly 604-ish level, if I recall correctly. So what was the high? Around 07s, 307s roughly. But there it is. You're starting to see a little bit more buying pressure. Trend line still slightly intact. Maybe not. Yeah, there it is. It's broken to the downside, guys. So I don't think there's going to be any longs on this name as the market is slowly grinding higher. Just going to stick to what's strong and avoid what's not. And that being said, Tesla is officially not going to be on my trading list today. I'm not going to give away all my profits just from trying to force something that may not come into play. Obviously, you want to take the stabs, but I think there's going to be some better opportunities, especially if the market is trading above VWAP. Maybe we'll look for some indecision. NVDA is still slightly weak on the day, and we know that we have a lot of open interest through that call side. That turns around at VWAP. That could be a potential good short in the overall market as well too, guys. So just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the Qs to see what we got going on from an open interest standpoint, because this can give us a good, we could gauge this relatively well from just looking at what is potentially there. So here it is. This is the Qs. This is 0 DTA. Let's go to the 1 dayer right here, guys, and see what we got going on. So 554, a little bit of size, but nothing outstanding on this week's expiration cycle. What was the low of the day on the Qs? We'll pull that up here momentarily. Roughly 552. So let's go take a look at our chain. Nothing substantial on those specific levels there, Sharif.
All right, man. Just throwing in my order over here. Let's see if we can get that. Okay, well, there it is. Stuff's exploding there, Joseph. But that's Studio 8, as you guys already know. We are going through a major construction, hence the chaos behind us there. And it's not going to end anytime soon. because there's still a lot of stuff to do. There is the construction equipment. Obviously, shout out to Russell and crew. Doing a fab job, man. Fabulous job there by Russ and his crew over. I'm gonna lose my temper today, so I'm probably should take a couple of seconds there. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's roll. That was me the other day, that's for sure. And I was just like, that's how you know I'm really mad. There it is. So yeah, I mean, by all means, guys, be patient on this one. You can see the weakness being displayed here in TSLA. I thought this would be a good opportunity to hop back in, but I think it's best if I just completely avoid this name at all costs because I don't think it's overly in place. So there it is. IBIT still holding up around this neck of the woods. There is a key resistance zone right here around 63.47. So we want to keep an eye out on that because we have rejected that on multiple occasions here. And this was a very interesting parent. I didn't see this. I did buy some more contracts at the high, and then I eventually got filled at the lows, which is positive. So my average on that is around $9.34 for the January expiration cycle. And I'm going to be looking for a substantial move. I mean, we can zoom out and see what's going on here. If we're going to breach the low 56 to 63, yeah, I might have to put on a little bit more size if I'm looking to kind of gain the profit that I am, especially if we're going to break out through this specific level, 63, 68. Okay, so this is roughly where I want to have my target around here is around 71, 72. I'm curious as to what that's going to put spot Bitcoin at itself. So we'll pull Bitcoin up, and that is going to be about 1 1/4 there. Okay, that's some drilling going on. We'll have to speak relatively loud, guys. Sorry about the construction, but someone is drilling something. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we'll just have to be patient. Be patient with us, and there you go, construction.
All right. So the reason I just got really frustrated there is I need to show the screen. Because I actually put in a stop loss where I meant to actually put in a dollar cost average. And so where I was looking to get a DCA into ASST, it actually stopped me out of the entire position. So that's really frustrating there, and that's just part and parcel of being on the show. You gotta do multiple things. So I screwed up on the entry there and ended up getting stopped out. And then of course, right after the stop, it rocketed up. So that is a little frustrating there, guys. So I'm gonna keep my eye on this one, ASST, for another pullback into the 10 exponential where I wanted to buy it, and it actually perfectly defended that area and moved up a nice 30 pennies quick as you like. So mistake on my part, but hey, that's the way this works. So I'm going to keep my eye here on ASST. I'm still keeping my eye on TORO as well. That's defended that $3 area. Still didn't get my dollar cost average at the volume weighted average price, but I'll keep my eye on that. And then CLDI. This one has been running up since yesterday. It's having another good day today to the tune of about 41%. It's on the way to $1. It's at the day high right now at 99 pennies. So be on the lookout for this one. It's a penny stock, but yeah, it's on the way to that. Go ahead, Neil. So I didn't know that you want to come on. Yep.
Just let me know if we can come on for a quick little second. First of all, I went back to see what that noise was. This ain't about me. I went back to see what that noise was. I have no idea what it is. But what I wanted to say, I know that was a frustrating hit streak, but every single time you get one of those like wick outs and it goes right away, that just means you had it dead to rights. And sometimes it's just a little bit of an execution thing. But what I've found over the years is in the long haul, it's like, okay, for every 1 or 2 of those, there's a 5 or 6 times that you do have it. And that's part of the whole, like, you win 70 or 60 or 80% of your trades, and you just get right back on the shelf and do it again. Which apparently, whoever's doing this is like, I couldn't even, it's not even happening in the back over there. I can't even find where this noise is coming from. Usually when there's a construction happening, everybody, like I can see them at work. I'm not even sure what's happening here. But no, honestly, you had the great level, you had the right stock. So you just got to always just have to keep doing what works for you and not worry about it. And I think that's a mentality I always try to have with it. Don't get too emotional about anything. You just wait for your shot. You take your shot. It works or not. You know, have that Mamba mentality. You just go right back out there.
Get that?
What do you say?
Oh boy, I don't know. The mistakes just keep piling up, man. I just added to the position instead of removing, man. Okay, I've got to take a break. I'll be back.
You take a break there. You didn't mean to hit the flat bottom break. We'll hit the sirens though, because sometimes you just need to take a little bit of a breather, a little help with patience. Oh, for the entertainment. Once again, guys, shake off the bad trades, onwards and upwards. Thank you, Minnesota trader. Shout out to you in the wild. That is the Minnesota Wild. Yeah, I was thinking, see, that's the thing. It's best if I just take this name off my screen because I'm going to be so tempted to trade it. And I just don't think it has that potential to break out today. So with that being said, it's time for me to move on. You know what I mean? I got to move on. Move on. I don't even know if that's a song. I just decided to sing that. But let's take a look at what we got from a volume standpoint. KLG, what's this name doing? Okay, that's nothing. Maybe a potential buy. Oh, that's Kellogg's. Yeah, what a massive dump to the downside. This is not a good look here on KLG. That's for sure here, folks. Let's see if we... Yeah, absolutely. Come in and chime in on KLG there.
Hopefully, the construction doesn't kibosh this as well. No, so I was talking about this. We talked about this in the morning show, and we mentioned this in the aftermarket show. If there is ever deal speculation, which is what happened in the aftermarket, was that if Ferrero Rocher, like Ferrera, I think is the name of the company, was interested in buying KLG. The stock shoots from $17 to like $26. Go to my chart for a second. From $17 to $26. Yes, I've been all over this one this morning. And what happens a lot of times is people will make assumptions about what the premium should be or what they think the value of the deal is going to be until you actually know. It's one thing shorts covering or taking some quick little scalp trades in the aftermarket and making some money. But holding it when it was just speculation and you don't know if a firm deal is going to happen and you don't know what price or under what conditions, anybody that's doing this buying, thinking it's just a gap and go trade. If you just think it's a gap and go trade, yeah, of course you just buy it here and maybe you hope to get your stop out there. But when they announce the deal price, there's no way you're getting out. Like what's happening? Like when they announce $23 and it's at 26.5, no human is getting out of that trade anywhere close. You do not want to get stuck in it. It's very tradable now, doing 25, 26 million if you have direct market access and just go in and out for a couple cents here and there, and you can make good money doing so. But just be very, very careful. Whenever you see a stock gapping up and it's a good pattern, in this case, it doesn't. You have to know what the news is and what could be dropping, as in the actual deal price and the actual terms of an official deal. And if it hasn't been said, it could happen at any moment. And it could have happened in reverse. It could have been a $30 bid and then it shoots higher. But you have to know what you're getting yourself into if you're ever involved in something like that in the pre-market or in the aftermarket. So we're trying to give that warning last night. I've been trading buyouts for like 2 decades. So, probably like 17 or 18 years. I didn't start doing it until a few years in. And I can tell you, it's easy to take headshots, because it's very algo driven, a lot of hedging, and if it's not your specialty, wait until you have more certainty. So it's one of those things where we all like that kind of a setup when you're looking for a gap and go. But if you don't know what the news is, you would have gotten destroyed today just sort of sitting in this one in the pre-market. I just wanted to give that warning. It's the third time I said it, but when I see something like that, I don't want to ever see people get rugged in a situation when this happens. I think we'll go to Derek because I think we have some news, and then back to the boys.
Keep an eye here on MSOS and some of these cannabis plays. Marijuana Moment is reporting that Attorney General Pam Bondi of the U.S. is sending some invitations to marijuana advocates dated for July 13th. So that would be Sunday. Again, this isn't confirmed, but it's reported here by Marijuana Moment. So yeah, maybe, I guess, Attorney General apparently looking to speak to some advocates for marijuana. Back to you.
For that, Adara. So yeah, just still really tempted to get in at VWAP. I think this ship has sailed. It hasn't broken down, which is a positive sign, as the overall market is continuing to climb higher. The SPY is really strong, significantly stronger than the tech-heavy Nasdaq. So you can see we're starting to climb significantly higher here on the session. And let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily. Okay, yeah, so there it is. We might even put in a new all-time high today, Sharif. So that's what we're looking at. Tesla, SPY, and the Qs. And AIRO, Tylerverse, thank you for pointing that one out as we break out, and the volume supporting that move. So way to call that one out. A big time move in Arrow Group.
All right, guys, CLDI continues to make in higher highs and higher lows. This one's on the breakout path right now. A little bit of a topping tail candle above the buck into 106, but we'll see if this one wants to hold up. I want to say around that 90 penny area. That's where I see the 10 EMA on the 5 right now. So it can zig and zag at that dollar area, which is all gravy, but it's gotta make it yet another attempt, I would say, at that dollar. A little bit below it now, a little bit above it. The spread opening up a little wide for a $1 name. It was 2 pennies wide here. That was actually, I think, the first time I've seen a sub $1 name at a 2 penny spread. So we'll keep tabs on that. Good look, though, for CLDI. Trying to identify some micro pullbacks here so we can possibly weasel into this one. This one does seem to be putting in the higher highs and higher lows. I want to say that there is a certain, there's a seller of note here at around 104, despite the fact that the high of the day is 106. So if we can clear that 104 area, I think we could definitely have a good shot at that 106 area as well. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. I want to see what Toro is up to. Hertz is, it's okay. It's not great. It's holding VWAP up lower highs. Toro, though, looking to reclaim, I want to say that that 310 area. There certainly were sellers at around 310, so I'm going to be all eyes on that one there on TORO. The volume, though, has really dropped off on that, so be careful with Toro. ABVE also coming in right into the volume-weighted average price. This could be an interesting buy here, but as an aggressive sell off that 212 high, and we've lost a substantial amount all the way down to that $1.25 now on ABVE. This was over 400%. Now it's about 280% or so. So let's keep tabs on that one. I'm looking at working a little bit more into PROK, as this one was also strong, 595 high, dipping right now into the 20 exponential moving average, kind of in between the 20 and the 10. I think we've got 50s on this one. It's showing me 37, so a little out of the money on that, but I still like its positioning, and I like that $0.25 area for a buy, because we had two double tops at 945 and 950, right at that 520 area, which is now actually overlapping with the volume weighted average price. So let's see what this one wants to do. I've already added it into this one, so I don't want to add again. But PROK, another one that I'm going to keep my eye on here. And as I see it, ABVE at least got a momentary, about a 10 penny bounce off that volume weighted average price at $1.30, and then up back it goes. So that one will also be in view. If it wants to set up in the right way, start putting in some higher highs and higher lows, I certainly don't have a problem getting involved in that. But it's a CLDI show, guys. Right back above into that 109 area. So did take out that 106. Let's get involved with this one over here on CLDI. Let's see if we can get a nice squeeze up maybe into the mid-teens or something like that. So we'll set up on this one and see how this one does, Joseph. 110 high.
Thank you. All right, guys. So I see what you're saying. Be balling. Well, sorry, I don't see what you're saying. Be balling, because 635 would put us at those all-time highs, and I don't know how you would necessarily find resistance in a blue sky territory. That's kind of the meaning of them, is that like you don't know where the new price discovery is going to lead you. But Adira, what do you got for us?
An update here in this MSOS story. I said earlier that we had Marijuana Moment reporting that Attorney General Pam Bondi of the U.S. is sending invitations to marijuana advocates dated for July 13th. Now some of these advocates are they've actually posted about this on X. So this was as of a little while ago. Looks like the story is just recirculating now, because I'm seeing a post on X from Todd Harrison, who is a marijuana advocate. He posted this about 18 hours ago, so just be aware. Constant circulation here. The story isn't necessarily brand new, but it's also confirmed here. Pam Bondi apparently meeting with marijuana advocates on Sunday. Back to you.
There, yeah, CLDI failing the top there, guys. 110 flattened out, or as soon as this one showed me that it had a 10 seller. Let's set up near that dollar. We're still putting in higher highs and higher lows on each successive 5-minute candle. So let's see if we can ride trend over here with this one at a good price. So we're getting into that 104 area. The low of this current candle here is around 98 pennies, 97.5 pennies. So that could be your entry on this one if you want to keep everything tight. Current bar low, since we're well extended, and we've got about a minute left on this bar, on this candle right now. So we're still putting in higher highs, higher lows. I'm going to get back in at this level at 105. Let's see what we get here, Joseph.
Good look there. Yeah, B-ball, and I always wanted to go there. Maybe that'll be one of my next trips, is to Hawaii. So yeah, there it is. just slowly grinding, continuing this slow grind here, guys, on IBIT. That's pretty positive. So I'm thinking about just buying any form of dip, and then maybe we can get a punch through this previous high and then continue to climb a little bit higher and hit those all-time highs in Bitcoin itself. So that's what I got going on, and just thinking, just telling you guys exactly what I'm thinking. But yeah, I'm glad that I'm not trading Tesla either. As you can see, it's just not strong whatsoever, and that ascending wedge has broken the lower end, and now you're opening up a low on the backside of that trend. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do head in towards opening price on Tesla, and especially if the overall market wants to slowly turn around. And with that being said, I am looking at the Qs. A lot of indecision within these prints here, but what will I know? Okay, so a lot of buying pressure right here. You climb through VWAP, but then also it's not as strong, and you can see that stair step down on the volume profile. That's not very indicative of something being relatively strong, all right? So just keep that in mind. We'll draw this trend line right there. We'll pull up on a daily as well. So we're about to head into those all-time highs roughly on the Qs. If it does play catch up with the SPY, then we're going to be in for a really, really nice session. But you need some of the big boys to participate, and that's going to be NVDA and Meta. Meta is relatively weak as well on the session, and Google was just kind of stuck in limbo. So here you go, you're rejecting it on NVDA right at the volume weighted average price. We'll take a look at Meta as well too. Okay, so it did bounce off of those lows. You can see all that buying pressure around the specific area. You bounce off of that and now trading above VWAP. So I would be waiting for the retest of this level and then maybe the continuation, or you get that slow curl over, Sharif.
Okay, Hertz flattened out at this one at the volume weighted average price. This one lost VWAP, so we'll take break even on that one. That's like, that's saying something on the day for me today. So we'll take break even on, on HTZ as this loses VWAP. But really the focus for me now is going to be on PROK. Where's my PROK screen? There we go. So we added aggressively at the volume weighted average price, and we're long at 40s now. Let's see if we can get a bump up and start taking some profits here on PROK to the high side. It gets a good little VWAP bounce, but we're still technically putting in lower lows and lower highs. I do like this area of support here. That's why I added aggressively. This double top, as I mentioned, 945 and 950 was well defended by the shorts initially. So there we go, popping back up into 40s, but we're really going to need to make a higher high here for me to start feeling comfortable, and that's a print above 47, because the prior bar high is around 47s there. So we'll have to see how that one does. Keeping my eye on that with a tight stop below my entry there. Toro, we're now putting in, I think, 5 candles in a row with higher highs and higher lows. With this current candle has a high of 308. We're not really much farther away from my entry at 304. So this one's gonna really need to take out some of the highs to make money on this one. So I'm packing my patience there. Also, CLDI continues to defend that $1 area, defending into the dollar with a 110 high. We're long 04s, it's showing me 03s. Let's see if this one wants to bump up so we can possibly take some prints here. So I'm looking at CLDI, seller at 3s. He just got taken out now, same seller at 4s. So let's go ahead and set up some more beak wetters here if we can above our entry. I'm gonna say it at 6s. We'll see if we can get something there, and then we'll also sit at 7s if we can at that level. So we'll see what we get on both these bad boys. I'm looking at ASST as well, defending that 10 exponential moving average at the $0.25. So be on the lookout for a nice bump up there on ASST.
Keep an eye here on these nuclear plays, OKLO, Oklo. We also have NNE, Nano Nuclear, and SMR. They're all popping here. So looks like apparently the Department of Energy has, I guess, filed for this, or they've docketed here, a construction permit application for TVA small modular reactors. So again, this coming here from the DOE, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission has put on the docket here a construction permit application for a TVA small modular reactor. Keep an eye here on this, these nuclear plays, because they got quite the pop on that news. Back to you.
All right, good luck there. You got anything else? No, all right, let's rock and roll. I know a lot of people are talking about Robinhood. You know this is one of my favorite stocks. A great time, a big time move since we started grabbing this. And we'll just look at it from a percentage metric as well, too, to see what we're up. 219, well, I'm not up 219%, but it has from Liberation Day low. So that's a big time move in Robinhood. And it's not too bad on the daily either, right, guys? You can see as you sell off in the earlier hours of the session, in the first half an hour or so, you're now breaking through that previous high of the day. So there it is, Robinhood heading right back in towards that $100 level. I mean, we're still a couple points off of that, but a good momentum shift there, guys. So yeah, BBAI was my next look. You know, this is a Katina Man favorite. Put in a high of 872 and sold all the way to a low of around 684, breaking through some of this resistance zone in the post market from yesterday. So that is a positive sign. Look for that pullback and that specific level to hold. So be patient on this one and don't chase it all the way up at these highs. And then, yeah, I'm still keeping my eye on Bitcoin, IBIT, I should type in. Yeah, so we're heading back towards this high of the day. If we can break this pivot, oh, we're going to be so pony boy golden. I really like this look.
Pony boy golden, I like that.
And then, yeah, so we'll keep an eye on this. And then Tesla, it's just dragging me in. It keeps dragging me in here, Shreve. Even though I haven't taken it, I just, for some reason, I want to, and maybe I will. I'll take one more stab. We'll most definitely stick to our 3-strike rule because we don't want to give the majority of our profits away.
Yeah, so I'm keeping my eye on CLDI now on the 5-second chart to see where the buyers are stepping in. So there's certainly a buyer stepping in at 98s and has been doing so since about 11:41. So it's this one over here. CLDI is the one that we're talking about. Let me just pull it up so you can follow along. But the problem is, ever since we made that high at 110, it's been a lower low, lower high. Well, not lower low, but lower high setup. Again, that 98 buyer. Here we go again. That 98 penny coming in. Do we lose the bid at around 98 pennies this time? Let's see. We defended it at 51, 1151, 1152. Looks like they're stepping in again here. Let's see if we can move above a buck. Even if we get to that buck, we have a lower high at 104. Previously, it was a 108 high. Previously, above that, it was a 110 high. So we're stair-stepping down on CLDI. We're still well above the 10 exponential, still well above the volume-weighted average price, but we are losing that 98 penny area, and this one likely will at least come down to about 95 pennies or 90 pennies where VWAP is. So be on the lookout right now. CLDI heading back down. This one is up about 36% on the day, one that we were watching it yesterday as well. So this one, a bit of a tough one to trade today on these here markets. Let's see if we can get into that 94 penny area where the 10 exponential moving average is. There we go, just about there. And then right about 90 pennies, we have VWAP as well. I'm also keeping my eye on PROK as this one continues to kind of hang out at the volume-weighted average price, but also has lower highs there, Joseph. So I'm kind of concerned about this one losing the bid off that 595 high, now holding about 5.25, but with each successive candle being another lower high, that is going to spell a problem for me at these levels. So let's go ahead and add into this one over here and see if we can get a pop back up here on CLDI into that dollar area, Joe.
Yeah, good look there, guys. All right, let's go. Here we go. Now we're breaking through that high on this name here. This is yeah, so this is exactly what we want. And then the next target, I think, is going to be around that 63.77 level, and then the breach of the whatever print this may be where you open up on IBIT at 4 a.m., and then boom, you get that flush right down. And then a nice stagnant, well, no, I shouldn't say that. We moved eastward, but then that move below, we were up, and then now we're punching and holding above. I think that's a positive sign of strength, and I had that in my morning notes. I like it when I see stocks slightly below VWAP in the pre-market, because then that gives it the opportunity to continue to climb higher. If I see something that's too extended from VWAP in the earlier hours of the session in the pre-market, then I usually tend to stay away from that one, with the exception of DAL, because that was an earnings play as well. So that, and this is one of my higher quality setups. I remember when I was trading on my own during earnings season, this is all I would look for, and this is where I put on some of my best trades.
Right.
Yeah, it's just you get that big up move, right, Sharif? You exceed the expected move, and I remember you mentioned before Danielle Shea. She said when the stock exceeds that expected move, look for the continuation throughout that throughout the session or the following day, and that's exactly what we are looking at here on DALs, up 12% on the session. So a really good look in a lot of these airline spaces, Sharif.
All right, PROK, I guess, coming back up a little bit here. I'm keeping my eye on the 5. There's a seller at 45 pennies, 545. Can't shake them so far, but it has, for the moment, defended the volume-weighted average price, but we need this one to keep popping here. I'd like this one possibly into that 575 area, but we're still being met with aggressive selling. So now it actually looks like it's rejecting the 10 exponential on the 5 from the downside. So it's kind of found its way into about like a bit of a range between between the volume weighted average price and that 10 exponential, which it lost, which is now it's rejecting from the downside. So this one, it's not exactly popping up here, but we'll see if this one wants to catch a bit of a bid, start putting in some higher highs and higher lows. Seller at 45. Keep your eye on that. We're going to Adair, and then Neil's got his lesson of the day.
Here is the Nasdaq making a really nice rebound here off of the lows, making lows just below yesterday's low of day here and trying to recover. Right, yeah, really impressive bounce. And a lot of these names I mentioned earlier today during the Sector Watch segment, that a lot of these tickers that were basically some of these more kind of expensive, spreadier names, they were actually leading this weakness, likely profit taking. They've bounced, some of them have bounced pretty well as well. S&P 500, though, we have to talk about looking distinctly different from the Nasdaq. I know that's been mentioned a couple times, but as you can see here, we didn't get anywhere near yesterday's lows. I also mentioned during your sector recap, we had some tech names leading that weakness. So interesting stuff to keep in mind there. Here's Delta. DAL certainly took off here after earnings. There was another day one earnings play on watch here. That was Conagra. So CAG and DAL here. Day one's earnings watch. Tonight, we're going to get Levi. Here's MP. This is one of our bigger catalysts this morning, but kind of petering off here, doing the opposite here of the market. Here is MP. Basically what happened here, the MP Materials getting a DOD deal, Department of Defense deal for MP. And before we go, we're going to thank our friends at Top One Futures. Are you looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, SPY, or even Bitcoin? Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there. They give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in capital. Pick your path: instant funded, challenge, or pro account, and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, they've paid out over $10 million and earned over 1,005 star reviews from real traders. Use the discount code TTV to save on any account. Scan the QR code or head to top1futures.com and start trading towards your next payout. Over to Neil and his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adair. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat when you're trading, but the most important thing, of course, is going to be your risk to reward, and your ability to manage risk. Because sometimes you're going to have an idea which eventually pans out, or in a general sense is right, but the actual execution is what it comes down to. Now, I can get into like the NVIDIA trading for myself, where we took a couple of shots and ended up being at the right levels. But I just want to point out one thing. As NVIDIA, we come to the chart here, as a stock like NVIDIA makes this bottom and gets to the volume weighted average price. Now, I told everybody, I like it here, I like it here for support levels. Now, ultimately, if you're just like NVIDIA is going to bounce and go crazy like it always does, and you buy here, and then you buy again, so 163.5 and 162.5, and now your average price is 163. And then you said, okay, well, you know what? I just think it's going to go to the upside. It continues to go. You're like, I'll double up again at 162, and your average price is 162.5. Right? So now, in a general sense, if you just never sell it, and it goes to the volume weighted average price, you can make 50 pennies on 4x the amount that you would have had here. Right? So that would be the same as taking this trade and making $2, it breaking 165. Think about that for a second. Averaging all the way down, never stopping out, which of course is crazy, and then getting the VWAP trade back if you just continue to average in and then double it up so that you get a good average price, which is effectively how a lot of people average in, take more to get a better average price. That win ends up being the equivalent of 163.5 to 165 on the original position, if you did it that way. But you have to consider the other end of this. In order for you to have done this on the way to the downside and not wait for a bit of a turn action, you'd have to have, let's just say you had a perfect stop at 161.5 and it didn't break it. You'd still be risking $1 plus slippage to make 50 cents. So yeah, that would work. And I'm using an extreme example here to make the point. Yeah, that would work, but it's an execution strategy that over the time is probably not going to be very good unless you are 90-something% or whatever it is at calling absolute direction correctly and fighting the trend, which almost nobody is. I don't think anybody is in a general sense. So what else can you do? Well, you can have some kind of an idea of where you want to execute. For myself, I didn't get the bottom, so my prices weren't the right prices. But what you can do is have another execution strategy for this, which allows you to be patient. That's why I like trend lines. Like the second I'm done with NVIDIA, when it lost this support area, what I could have done, I mean, look, ultimately, my decision was to flip to AMD, which I think was the right one because AMD was strong and that worked out. But if I was going to stick with NVIDIA in that particular case, what I could have done is I just say, it's trending down, there's the open, there's the VWAP test, let's just say the trend line, and I won't try it until it tries that break. So just like you took 2 shots here on the way down, you could take 1 shot in here, doesn't go, you're out. Maybe you should be, well, for me, it'd be a kind of a flat trade likely because I would have taken some profit, then we'd stop out the rest. And then what happens when you leave that trend line in? It doesn't always work like this. It bounces, consolidates higher. Okay, it's holding that trend break at another low. You could take another shot in it here and around 62. There's your 50 cents worth risk. And then there's your shot to get 2 to 1 to risk into VWAP. And if you get out on the way to VWAP, maybe you're 1.5 to 1. Because it's like if you take some out here and take some out here on the way, it's what your average out is going to be. The point is, you need to have an execution strategy that's beyond, I like stock X at price Y. I like, I just think the stock is going up, I'm going to be a buyer of it. Like that's what we're sort of getting at here. And whatever that plan is, maybe you like moving averages, maybe you like Bollinger Bands, maybe you like RSI, maybe I don't know, Fibonacci's or Finabacci's, as Sharif will always say. Or maybe you like trend lines like myself, or wait till it gets to VWAP. It doesn't matter. And anybody tells you that there's one of those that's better than others is a fool. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've seen lots of things work for people, and I've seen those same things not work for others. So you just have to find what it is that works for you, but it has to be something that you can go into and then look and see how it did, because you can explain the strategy, why and where you get in, so it's not random, and where you would get out, and then it's trackable. And that way, and you're just taking reps at that strategy over and over. So when you make a trade, there's no emotion. You know what the trade is before you've even taken it, right? Like you've always, you know what anybody that watches this, you already knew what I was going to do in here. I'm going to wait for the bottoming tail. When I see it, I'm going to go back in through. And one of the long, I'm going to play out into VWAP, and I'm going to hold some for the high every single time. And I'm going to leave the last for the stop under the prior bar. When it breaks this range here, my stop goes from here to here, the next bar. That's it. And you'll see me execute that almost every single time because I know exactly what it is I'm doing in that downward trend. But that's just what works for me, and you got to find what works for you, because fighting the trend ultimately is difficult, and it is frustrating when you're like, oh, but it eventually went up. That's great. You've got a part of the story. The second part is finding the execution strategy for that call that works for you. Because I can tell you, my execution strategy on IBIT failed me because I'm not back into it. And it's you know, let's call a spade, as Sharif likes to also say. What am I doing? What am I doing? Bang, 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 bang. I trail out here, fine. No entry, okay, but that's all right. I was thinking VWAP in that moment, and I wasn't sitting at my desk. But once that trend is in, I'm still sitting VWAP. And I'm not drawing the trend line. I'm a trend line trader. A trend line trader has to have that dip buy. That's simple. So you know what your execution strategy is. Everybody's human. You're going to miss it sometimes. That's pretty foolish. That should be, it is what it is. But you have to be able to understand what your strategy is so that I know that even if Bitcoin is like one of my best stocks today, I failed on it. Why? Because I didn't follow my execution plan. And that's it. And you'll never see me care about anything else but that. And over 20 years, it wasn't always that way, but eventually you do get to that point where that's all that matters. What is my plan? Did I actually have one? And did I follow it correctly? Did I execute it correctly? And that's what you do, man. It's like when we talk about the Mamba mentality, like Kobe knows what is he doing. Like in this situation against that defense, he has to make this read and he's got to go left here and blah, 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 whatever it might be. And then he worries about it and the shot goes or it doesn't go. But he's just going to go make the right decision and make the right pass and take the right shot. And that's all they're focused at. And that's what the best do. And if we're trying to be the best, then we want to have that mentality as well. So make sure you stick to your plan. But in the first place, get yourself an execution plan. Not just, I like the stock. Execution plan is everything when trading. So good luck, everybody. There's your lesson of the day. I guess I'm bad luck because the Nasdaq is starting to come back down. My bad.
That's crazy.
It's all Neil's fault. It's all Neil's fault. It's all Neil's fault. Tesla sucks right now. This thing.
It's all Bill's fault.
Man, like, what am I? Like, and then Sippo Sunshine's like, Joe waited until off camera to sneak back into Tesla. And I'm just like, yeah, I know, man. Like, but it's all right, man. Trust me, I'm cursing Elon right now. Just get some positive sentiment in this name. Just give me a news headline or something. Give me something, please. But no, in all seriousness, guys, if this isn't going to work, then I'm just going to hop out of this trade. And I will most definitely will not see TSLL or Tesla on my chart again. I thought we were going to break out here, but it does seem that this move might be, the ascending wedge might be to the downside. So if it does stop me out, so be it. We'll find something else to trade because Bitcoin just cracked through the high of the day and put in a new one. Let's go, Sharif.
All right, man. Finally caught a bit of a dub here on Toro as it popped up into 3 1/4. So we make some of the stuff back that we lost. It's back though down to 310, still holding the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, but off the high of the day. But why I like this one, and I'm going to continue to focus on Toro, is that it's got higher lows, unlike some of the other ones that I'm involved in right now. Case in point. PROK continues to hang out at the volume weighted average price, but that's now 2 lower highs in a row, with the first lower high being 545, the second lower high being 535, so dropping down incrementally 10 pennies. This one does look like it's going to be a flat bottom break through the volume weighted average price. I've got 40s on right now. It showed me 23s, and it will likely lose VWAP there. It made an attempt at 45s right at 12 o'clock to take out the previous area high, which had been 45s at about 1148, 1150 or so. There was a seller there. It made an attempt to take it out, but it was a no-go there as it lost the bid again. So that's what I'm looking at right now. CLDI, we're all out of that one. I won't be trading that one anymore. So it's really going to be a PROK and Toro for me. I'm keeping an eye, though, on ABVE. Really didn't do much with this one. I took a super quick trade on it, not one that I'm lamenting or anything like the one on ASST. But this one is trying to hold, well, did defend the volume-weighted average price quite nicely. Comes back into that 130 area, double tops at 160, low 160. So there's certainly a seller there, dipping back into that mid 155. So let's see if this one can kind of get its act together and start popping back up. I perceive here what could be the formation of a head and shoulders pattern. If that's the case, then your neckline break definitely looks like it's going to be that $1.25 area. I would say just a little bit below that 130 area, that $1.30. I think there's certainly a case to be made for a short here on ABVE below that $1.25, $1.30 area, but that's all predicated upon, obviously, it losing that 163 area where we can currently have a double top. So I am kind of concerned still about PROK. Where is that one at? It just lost the bid as soon as I came to have a look at it. It's down into the volume weighted average price again. It still didn't trigger me out. I've got my stop at 510. Let's see what this one does. The one that's doing well is TORO, still stair-stepping up, higher highs, higher lows. Looking for something on this one to kind of make back what we've lost on the others. Joseph.
Yeah, good look there. So yeah, the Q's starting to head back in. This name is still holding up, but I'm thinking about getting out. NVDA did put that curl in right around the volume weighted average price that we were talking about. A nice indecision right above VWAP right there, guys. So yeah, keep that in mind. A nice pullback. Maybe look for these support levels to hold, and maybe you can get an additional bounce. But I just don't have that feeling. You know, when you guys have that gut feeling on what's going to happen throughout the session, I don't know if that's going to be necessarily the case. And obviously, anything can happen at any moment. So just keep that in mind. But sometimes hopium isn't the best cure or drug, I guess, because that stuff can get you, and that's kind of what I'm rolling on right now, Sharif, is a little bit of hopium that Elon and company get a positive news catalyst to come in, or we get a buy program that steps in. Volume most definitely needs to kick up, ramp up in order for us to break this. We did hold that down trend line on the back side of it. So you can see exactly why I got into it for a second time, is that now we have this down trend line. We sit on top, we open it, we have that liquidity grab, we climb higher, and then sure enough, as as we breach VWAP, we head right back into the support level. And I think at this pace, it might break down. So that's what I got going on. AAL still continuing to climb, putting in a new high of the day here, guys. So, sorry, not quite, but almost a nice strong rally in American Airlines. Sympathy play with Delta, obviously. So that was a really good look on those two names right there, Sharif. Yeah, and there you go. Bitcoin put in another slight new high on the day as well. But the Delta coming back in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beacon, do you guys not short? That's a great question. So I don't like to short these small cap gappers just because it's like a whole process, right? We got to get shorts for them, and then, you know, personally, I don't have a problem shorting them. I have rules. Below the volume weighted average price, it definitely has to be trading below that. I won't short it if it's above that level, but I just generally don't like to short these small cap gappers because they're so volatile to the upside that, you know, maybe a second day play. So for example, like a name like today, like ABVE up 300%. A lot of these ones, they don't hold their moves, right? So the subsequent day, you'll see them down 30, 40%. That's where I don't mind shorting them, but on the actual day of, I'm just not good enough to get the mean reversion back down. It's not really my strategy. My strategy is more long oriented for these small cap gappers, and that's all I trade nowadays, right? Small cap gappers. So great question by you. We have a system on the prop floor over here in order to get shorts. Sometimes they're free. Sometimes we have to pay for them. Obviously different prices depending on demand, etc. So that's kind of the look there. So to answer your very long-winded answer to your question, yes, we short. I don't like shorting the small cap gappers, though. Great question there, because one that I have not brought up before. So I'm still keeping my eye here on PROK. We're about 5 pennies out of the money on this one. It's still continuing to defend the volume weighted average price. You know, we're still technically, you know, in a range, I want to say, with 545 being the high end of the range, generally 520 being the low end. So let's see how this cookie crumbles. We had one candle that breached the volume weighted average price momentarily, but it was quickly bought up and actually closed above VWAP. So I'm going to continue to watch this one and see if it wants to defend VWAP and then pop back up for a nice move up. We'll see what this one does. TORO as well. This one's dipping down quite aggressively into 3 there, so we're a little bit out of the money quickly as you like, right into 3 1/4, and now we're back down into 3. So let's see if this one continues to defend the volume weighted average price, which is around 290. So we'll see what this one does. And that's really basically it. I'm not involved in any of the other ones. PROK and TORO, the only ones that I'm looking at with the bigger position being in PROK, because we did scalp out substantially here on TORO. Tyler versus no pennies today. I don't know what that means. So we're going to continue to watch what CLDI is doing as well. That one also lost the volume weighted average price. So that one is of no interest to me anymore as it's below that level, and it's below the dollar as well. So a bit difficult to trade. Now, the only question I've got to myself is, we got a bounce last time at the 20 exponential moving average on TORO. And it did find a nice move back up. Now we're right back at the 20 at that 302 area. So I've got asking myself here, this is really literally the only winner I have on the day. Do I add into this one for another move back up into the $3 1/4? So that's kind of what I'm thinking over here, and I better think fast because it's probably not going to hang out at these levels for all that long. And it's basically the same price that I have as before, 303, showing me 305s right now. So it's basically the same price. It would be basically re-upping the same position that I have before. And there it goes, right back up into 310. So it does defend that 20 exponential moving average on the 5. Joseph.
Good look, guys. Savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3X daily leverage ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term markets, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing.
Get it, Joe.
There, guys. Yeah. Yes.
What up?
Let's go, Bitcoin.
Tell me there's some good news there.
There's some Bitcoin. Yeah, we got some good news here on Bitcoin, my brother. As we break through the resistance zone, let's go. A nice big push. Is the volume supporting that as well, too? I don't know, maybe, possibly. But we definitely want to see that step in a little bit here, guys, because it's nothing substantial. I'm just keeping, I keep keep looking at Tesla and I'm like, yo, I just need to stop looking at it because it'll just drag you in. So if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball there, Sharif. And I'm trying to dodge that that Tesla ball. There's no questioning that there. Yeah, I don't know. Rest in peace, Patches, Zohulahan. Anyways. From Dodgeball?
Oh.
Yeah.
I love that movie, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Good.
Rest in peace. That's it. Dara, what do you got for us?
Keep an eye on Robinhood. I'm hearing apparently Robinhood has officially launched its Ethereum and Solana staking in the U.S. So again, we heard them announce this a couple weeks ago now at their To Catch a Token event. But now they're apparently officially launching their Solana and Ethereum staking. Also, guys, just an update. I haven't seen any tariff letters yet today. I just checked on Truth Social. So we're expecting some more tariff letters at some point. Right now, though, yes, Sharif, OMG, it's been almost 24 hours since we've gotten a tariff letter, and I am very confused. Back to you.
Dara, can I say something? There's very few people who have your level of passion for listening to Donald Trump.
I love the deep dives. Like Sharif knows this. I'll go home and I'll just like look up random stuff. I'll do deep dives on everybody. I know everything.
There he is.
But yeah, I really like this market, and I'm happy to be here with you guys every single day. Jay Powell, door.
Ooh, shut the door.
Shut the door.
Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Ciso.
Who?
Cisio.
Okay.
What's your favorite ETF?
I'm going to say IBIT.
Let's go.
Of course. I can't do my man dirty like that.
You know what we got going on,
baby.
IBIT. I'm not even involved in this name from an intraday standpoint, but we got Connie's. We like those here. Man, yeah. So we're having a good time on that one. Maybe we got to lighten the mood a little bit because I told Sharif on Monday, I didn't have a single green ticker.
Oh, like me.
Yeah.
Well, I got one today.
But you got one. That's one better than what I had, and that was already in the past, so you can still continue to move on that one there. So let's go Bitcoin.
Okay.
Head into that high. Are we all-time high as BTC? No, not just yet, but we're getting really, really close here, guys. What was this previous peak high? Let me pull this up here. I'm scrambling. Ramble on. Not quite there. This is going to be that. There we go.
700 officially.
63.89. 700 what?
I have small wins in my life, Joseph.
Yeah, that's all. Well, they add up. Right? They add up. The small wins add up, brother. That's what it's all
nice
about.
Nice of you to say.
Yeah, they add up, man. I feel like that's kind of how my life goes too. It's just like small win, small win, and then.
Ram wants $1 per view. What kind of serious money are you asking here?
What do you think this is? Truth Social over here?
Oh.
Well,
you know what? Ram, she spent a couple of bucks the other day. We know. Like Ram, can I say it?
What'd she get?
Can I say about their brother?
Oh, yeah,
So she dropped a couple of bucks.
Yeah, she dropped a couple of bucks.
Shout out to Ram. Very magnanimous of her.
Yeah.
She bought her brother a car. Alex. Beautiful used car, low kilometers, no scratches, no rust, no nothing. Just because she's a good sister.
Yeah, I wish my sister would do that.
You know what my sister does, right?
Yeah. Tell me.
She leaves my parents on me.
Ooh.
She takes off to California.
Okay.
Then you know who's doing all the errands.
Get him.
Old man needs to go to the eye doctor.
Preach.
Who's picking him up?
Tell me.
Sharif has to go on the weekend, so that they can get a fair dose of their kids around. It's not her.
It's not her.
It's me.
It's you. They're not sick of you yet, are they?
No, and then you know what? She waltzes in here once or twice a year and gets all the love.
And tries to run the show.
I'm like, I'm putting in all the work.
Over here, what about my guy over here?
What
kind of BS is this?
I can't lie, Sharif. I literally do the same thing in my family because I'm over here in Toronto and they're in Winnipeg. So it's like,
And you're the older one too. What's with the older ones and leaving?
I don't know. If I were to psychoanalyze, maybe it's because, when the younger child comes, they get away with more. They're younger, they're more exciting.
I don't get away with nothing, Adara.
Okay. I don't
Sorry, I know you're trying to help.
Apparently Dara gets away with everything over there.
Adara's great.
Let's go, Bitcoin 63.71 as we're continuing this climb higher. This is exactly what we want to see. We're not at all-time high just yet, Mark Suchi. I think we're not too far away from it, but we will pull it up on a different chart so we can get a more clear reading on Bitcoin because this is what we want to see. All right, hold on, lackluster, but that's okay. We can survive that because what is coming up next is going to wow us all. I don't know if it's going to do that, but we like it.
Is wearing shorts with a long sleeve shirt like a bad thing? Because I think there's some people in the chat there, they got upset about it.
Did they see you with the
I think I think I'm rubbing them the wrong way.
Oh, well,
sorry,
hey,
guys.
well, I got a little something for them, Sharif.
I'll come tomorrow with shorts tomorrow. You don't even want to see me in short
come
shorts.
with the gym outfit.
I got it in my bag.
Hey,
We have to do that. I'll do that.
Watch out. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we're going to add. I think maybe this is we're roughly close to all-time highs. I mean, 112 flat, we're at 112.50, so there we go.
Are we doing the ad?
Who's doing it then?
Oh, am I doing it, Assassino?
I
Because
didn't know who was doing it.
Not ready. I'm so sorry about this. All right, guys, what we're doing? We're doing Trade the Pool. Okay, so Trade the Pool. We got another behind-the-scenes look at the Trade the Pool community, but this time we're diving into the community side of things. As you know, each trader gets his or own hub, and inside one, you'll find something called Trade Talk. It's a powerful charting and analysis space where traders map out, I should say, their strategies, break down their setups, and share predictions with the overall community. And if you're looking for real-time, interactive look, I don't know, the Trade the Pool Discord, this is written wrong, it's gonna have to be changed. The Trade the Pool Discord is where you've got to visit. It's full of active traders sharing insights, trades, and tips on how to grow together. At Trade the Pool, you're not trading alone. You're joining a firm that invests in your growth technically, mentally, and financially. So head over to tradethepool.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Holy Jesus.
Holy moly.
Okay, so how do we change I don't have permission.
You don't have.
Because the English on that is prohibitively bad.
No, I have no
Sorry.
English. But yeah, Bitcoin, let me talk a little bit about this before we send it back to you there, Sharif. Yeah, well, yes. Okay, maybe I shouldn't get too excited because we do have a definitive target on it, and it's quite a ways away, and I'm looking at the daily chart on IBIT, and for what I'm looking at and looking for, I'm going to need to add substantial size here. So I don't want to chase at the highs like I did, and I'm thankful that I got a fill here, and I did buy another contract on the break of this downtrend before, but now we're just going absolutely parabolic, and this is what I was looking for, right? We failed to construct any new lows on the day, and then as soon as it breaks this level that we had marked out earlier, boom, look at that move that it goes on. So now we're definitely at all-time highs on Bitcoin, 112,400 on that name, and it's continuing to climb. So beautiful, beautiful stuff there, guys, and we're loving what the contracts are doing for us right now, Sharif.
Okay, sorry, just one second.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Brendo, so we can get this taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah, message him, and it's still going. It's still going. Come on, 125. Please be good to me. If anybody remembers what that is from Napoleon Dynamite, my guy Kip, he's bowling, and he's like, just please be good to me, please be good to me. But it's been nothing short of that, guys. And we have the volume supporting the move as well, too, in all seriousness. So this is, like, for all my Bitcoin bulls, I'm happy. Like, I talked about the multi-month consolidation, but I'm happy that it wasn't as long as the previous ones, right? And now we cracked this downtrend here, and this is exactly when I was starting to get involved via some contracts, and I usually start with shares, but I said, you know what, Joe, you only live once, so just go for it, right? And that's what we kind of got going on, so I'm happy to have gotten involved. I did buy one here, I bought one here, and then I got another one filled on the low, so we're looking pretty good. I'll talk about the averages right when we get back to Sharif.
All right, guys, we're good?
Yeah.
We don't have an ad read, right?
Oh,
okay,
no, yeah.
All right, guys, I'm still holding on to PROK, despite the fact that we've been out of the money basically the entire time. My idea here is I'm seeing higher lows and a holding of the volume-weighted average price. So here's my 5-second chart that I've been kind of basing the entries and exits on. Let's just zoom out a little bit. So that white line, that's a volume-weighted average price. That's the big move down. Obviously, very sideways movement. We've lost VWAP once, and we did it for about 10 seconds. It was a 2-candle setup below the volume-weighted average price on the 5. And then we've been basically putting in higher lows and higher highs since that time. Now, it's not a glowing endorsement for a long, but it's showing me that there are buyers stepping in at around this price. My ambition is that we break above this 545 high that we've been basically using as resistance ever since losing it at around, I want to say, 1145. So 545, definitely the level I'm looking to break. We've been making attempts, sometimes at 540, sometimes at 538. We'll see how this cookie crumbles. Right now, though, it is not looking awfully good because we're still straddling that 5 1/3, and well, we're long 540. So that ain't the look there for me. Just looking to see if we can weasel in to a better entry there. And I'm hesitant to add at 520. I don't want to add at that level. I don't want to add that level. The reason is because essentially this 5.25 ad was VWAP in addition to being the area of support over here, previously resistance. So if I'm going to start adding below that, what's my rationale for adding below that? To me, it doesn't jive. I'm just going to hold on to the position as it is. We have a larger position on this one. If it ends up moving up, you know, it'll definitely make a dent in this red day. Otherwise, we're just going to add to the misery over here, so to speak. Ooh. So that 540 level, that's where I'm looking for it to clear and clear decisively. Obviously, sadly, though, above that 545 level, we've got another psychological area of resistance, which is that $0.50. Hence why I've put my order just a little bit below that $0.50. So if it does reject that psychological area of resistance, we at least get something out. Yeah, not cry too much about that. Now, the one that's actually doing well over here, TORO. My mistake here was, again, like I mentioned, not adding into that dip into the 20 exponential, which it already showed you it had been defending on the day. On multiple occasions, I want to say 3 different occasions, you had pulls or retracements, excuse me, into the 10 exponential, all of which were bought up. First one's here. Right at 1020, you dip down off a big move up, by the way. Subsequent to that big move up, you dip into the 20, you hold. You got a bit of a consolidation move over here, you dip into the 20, you hold. You make another new high of day over here at the $0.25 where we were involved, you dip into the 20. You guys see where I'm going with this? You hold. So there's certainly an algo or a buyer who's very interested in picking up TORO at the 20. Now, how long does that last for? It's not going to last forever, right? So be on the lookout for a decisive loss of the 20. In addition to having said all that about the 20 being bought up, it's not spending any, you know, reasonable amount of time at the 20. It's a quick wick into the 20 exponential and a move back up. So we'll see how this all goes, but TORO is literally the only winner we have on the day. So I don't want to take out too much too quickly so that we can possibly participate in a move above that $0.25. But it's really going to come down to PROK and how this does and whether it loses the $0.25 or whether it wants to work its way back into some higher highs. That's really going to make the difference for me on the day, I think. Not much else for me to talk about. Maybe some ASST over here. Let's talk a little bit about this one as it... Where's my ASST screen? Just allow me to find it. So I think I took it off. Let's take off HTZ. We'll put ASST on the Nasdaq. This one's back at $7 and back at the volume weighted average price. Now it's held up there on a 2-candle basis. However, that's the good news. The bad news is it's been putting in lower lows and lower highs ever since that topping tail candle it put in, I want to say at around 1140 at 773. And it hasn't been putting in any higher highs or higher lows since that time. And now it is below the volume weighted average price, having lost $7 into the mid-90s we go. So it feels like ASST's best time is behind it at the moment. So I won't be involving myself in that one unless it gets back above VWAP. I'm just looking over here on the top screen to see if there are any new entrants into the world of small cap gappers. I'm seeing some lightly traded ones, nothing really doing the requisite amount of volume that we need in order to work into some positions. I'm seeing SQNS, though, as a new possible entrant here. So who are we going to take off? We're going to take off HTZ. So SQNS, it looks like it's a new one here. Just got into that high of the day at 292. Selling off a little bit, though. Looks like some profit taking here. Still well above the 10, the 20, everything like that. I think I had this one on, actually, earlier and took it off because it decidedly lost VWAP. Or maybe not. Maybe that was a different one. In any event, it looks like it certainly has support here at 265 once we clear that 265 topping tail candle at 6:55 a.m. Look at this. It drops back down from 292, finds buyers right at 265, and then pops back into 273. So that buyer at 265 there looking to basically use his entry on the high, well, based upon the high of the day, or the pre-market high, excuse me, at 655. So we'll see how this one does here. SQNS could be an interesting one. Maybe it gets us back into Greensville. Let's throw the ticker on there, Joe, so that everybody can follow along with us, because it's hard to see the tickers on these black charts right now. Oh, 50 euros. Oh, baby. What's going on over here? Thank you very much, Mr. Who is this? Kreshnik. 50 euros. Protein shakes on me, brothers. up this week.
Yes, let's go. Up 13K on BTC alone this week. Raise the roof. Let's go. Thank you for that.
Crazy.
I will, with that being said, I'm going to Dollarama and getting a bunch of muscle milks, my friend. That is what we got going on.
Man, I gotta send you a video that I think you'll.
The one you showed me.
So I did send you that
it's
one.
like the guy who was talking about muscle milks and stuff.
I sent that to Luca as well. He got a kick out of that. They're not even Canadian. So this was an American video. They're from New York, right? So I think like if some of the audience might know, it might ring true with a lot of them. That's where I remember muscle milk. I don't like muscle milk because of the way what sweetener they use. It's one of the best sweeteners out there. It doesn't taste like.
So will we catch Sharif drinking muscle milk from time to time?
Rarely.
Rarely?
I just buy the Costco big protein buckets.
The whey?
Just
whey protein?
deal with that. Yeah.
Nice.
Joseph, let's talk a little SQNS though over here because this one is actually breaking out, okay? So SQNS is the ticker. It's at 288 with a high of the day, I believe at 292. What index is this on? Not the NYSE. It's not the NYSE. Okay. So 292 high a day. It's a big boy breakout right now. Be on the lookout though for the pullbacks. I'm switching my top chart to the 5-second there on SQNS so we can see where the micro pullbacks come in. It looks like there's certainly support, as I mentioned, at 265 and 270. We're putting in some higher lows right now with the low 265. Then I want to say 272. And here we are. We're about to test that 272. We're at 273. Let's see if we lose that level. So SQNS could be a big boy breakout here to the high side. Joseph.
Good look there, brother. All right. Who do you think you are? I am.
Oh, I have that.
You have that video?
Who do you think you are?
That guy is the best.
He is amazing.
Yeah, he's good stuff there, man. Really good look here on Bitcoin. I'm just looking at my average price on these contracts. I want to pull up a chart for that, so I'll do that for you guys. So this is the specific contract that I'm in right now. These are the January 16th, 2026 calls. Just again, I'm already leveraging my system, and that's what I'm talking about. Trading options, you got to find your niche, right, at the end of the day. But for me personally, just the ebbs and flows that I've gone through this trading journey, it's just by the time you're already leveraging your system. 3 contracts, I'm pretty sure cost me around $3,000. That's small potatoes, man. And I mean, you don't own the shares, you just have the rights to them. But if you get that move that you're looking for within the span of a couple of months, then boom. And if you don't, then so what? Come October, just get rid of them if you haven't got it. And that's kind of my game plan here. But this is the January 16th, 2026, 62 calls here on IBIT. And you can see even from a 5-minute standpoint, very illiquid for right now. And what I'm going to do for everyone is pull up a near dated contract to see the liquidity that can potentially be displayed. So let's go to this week's expiration cycle, January 11th, and let's pull up those 62 calls here, Sharif.
Okay.
Or something that has a little bit more volume, actually. Yeah, let's pull up the 63.5 because there is quite a bit of volume on this one for today, and then we're going to be able to see that displayed here. Okay, so significantly better, and you can see it, boom, 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 a lot more liquidity, and that's really important to know wow, look at this. This is a prime time example. I'm glad I pulled this up. And this is what you want to see when you're trading options is that the liquidity stepping in, because this is so hard to trade, and what you get from this is wider spreads in options contracts, and just hopping in the trade, Sharif knows, that could cost you a couple $100, and you're just getting into it. You haven't even done anything yet. You just enter the trade and you can be down a substantial amount of money. So that's why it's really important. But the liquidity most definitely stepping in. And that's telling me that a lot of investors, institutional, retail, whatever they may be, are stepping in and providing liquidity in Bitcoin. And that's a major positive sign.
Can I build on that, Joseph?
Yeah,
because I had some really good information on that today. And that's why I was shouting you out in the morning when we were doing this. So I want to review exactly this Bitcoin information that we made or that I generated today over here at SSE. We're not going to do the news quite yet, but look at this. If I can show the screen, guys, please. So here's the deal. So despite the inflows that we got last week, the price action had been kind of muted.
Yeah.
What was really different last week and this week, as opposed to the prior weeks, corporate treasury Bitcoin purchases, buying the actual coin, up substantially indicating deeper institutional adoption. We know that the institution is less likely to buy an ETF as opposed to retail investors, more likely to want to hold on to the coin proper.
Go to the actual asset itself.
And that's what I personally, I know nothing against retail investors. I'm one myself.
Yeah.
Like you, and everybody over here is a retail investor.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, most of the time, it's not the retail investors moving the markets, it's the institutional big buyer.
Absolutely.
So that's why I want to see the institution.
Yeah, no, and that's what we talk about. Just as soon as this thing was IPO'd, I heard Kevin O'Leary was like that, all right, we're still waiting on the adoption from the institutions in Bitcoin. And then boom, next thing you know, IBIT comes out. One of the best releases, ETF releases of all time. I think the best one, outpacing the SPY. And then also you have the optionability of Bitcoin that happened, I believe, in March or so, whatever it was, previous March, whenever it was. First thing when I read the article, I messaged Sharif, I'm like, this thing is now optionable. And that is going to allow the institutions to also protect their downside. And that also led to what I believe a decrease in the volatility. So when you would see the massive drawdowns in Bitcoin before, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case now. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but there's more ways to protect your downside without holding the underlying asset, and that's via options.
Well said, Joseph. Yeah. Well said, man. Yeah, so we'll have to see, obviously, how this all does, man. I mean, look, he messaged me yesterday, and by he, I'm talking about Joseph. I was at the gym, and he messages me like Bitcoin's making all-time highs. And my response to him was basically, it's sarcastic. It's not sarcastic.
No,
no,
it's
it's
like,
exaggerating for effect.
Like,
but it's genuinely how I feel.
Yeah.
It's all over. This thing is part of the system now.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
the system is, I'm not going to get into a dissertation about all that kind of stuff, but this is part of the overall
system
mix.
now. Yeah,
of
absolutely,
system.
absolutely.
And so, you know, I make sure to let my old lady know, my mom Dukes. Every time
Tell her.
Bitcoin makes a new all-time high, she gets a message.
She gets a message. Damn.
Immediately gets a message, just to remind her that I offered 5% of the portfolio. She said no. I said 1% of the portfolio.
She said
no.
Damn.
Why?
Why?
What could happen if 1% goes to zero? You know what I mean? It's like taking a little L on a bigger position.
It's like having $100 and losing $1 and then crying.
It displeases me.
Right, yeah, but to add to your point there, Shreve, I think we're seeing a massive shift right now in multiple sectors, right? Like, so you have this AI boom. Okay, that started a couple years, but now you're also getting the adoption of cryptocurrencies and stable coins. This is a major shift in what we're seeing from a technological standpoint. You know. So I obviously
love it.
But
no, it's good.
I honestly can't help but say it. But it's a major shift, and you want to start to partake in that. We have the likes of Circle, Coin now, working with Shopify, I believe it is, and then you also have other major names like Amazon wanting to start their own stable coins. This is a major change in a lot of areas in our day-to-day world.
Major key, Adira LePage.
Ooh, major key.
We the best music. No, METC here on The Real made a little bit of a move. This is Ramaco Resources, Department of Energy Secretary here, Chris Wright, in the Trump administration, just posting that he's going to be visiting the Ramaco Brook mine tomorrow. So METC is Ramaco. Of course, if he's visiting their mine, that's viewed as a good catalyst for the company. So METC chopping around right now. Just be aware of that story as we send you back to the Bash Brothers.
Thank you, Adira. Yeah, interesting look there. I want to get into MP later. Let's talk a little bit about MP with that big move up today, heavily shorted, obviously. But I like, for me, what I was saying to Brendo today, I was like about that MP story. I'm like, why would anybody want to short this? All you hear is China basically threatening the U.S. with rare earth elements, rare earth metals, and saying we're going to stop exporting them to you. So then wouldn't the rational response to that be, well, the companies domestically are going to get propped up because we can't really rely on other countries to sort of support that?
That sounds awfully familiar to tariffs and what Donald Trump's agenda is.
What do you mean?
Well, you want to start buying things domestically. You want to start
absolutely. But in this case, it's not it kind of is in response to Donald. I'm not gonna argue that. But the point is, if we can't rely on the Chinese for rare earth elements, and Canada is still not ready to give to export because we don't have the infrastructure built out because we've been sleeping for the last 10 years. Well, then don't we start investing or relying on the companies domestically that are producing this kind of thing and help prop them up? And by we, I'm talking about the Americans.
Yes,
That's kind of what I mean by that.
Absolutely.
So then why would this thing have a 25% short float? What was the market seeing here that said, oh, this makes sense? That's kind of what I don't
Yeah, I see what you're getting. I see maybe they were hoping to strike a deal with some of these Chinese, obviously
Which
producers,
they are,
right?
in the short term.
In the short term, but right now, I
don't know. I don't know. It just
totally
doesn't
valid.
jive with me. I don't get it. But
totally
maybe
valid.
somebody in the chat can kind of answer that. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Jag, you had a great question. Sharif, this is something I don't understand. Can you please explain? Someone said institutions hated this recovery because they did not get in. Was it retail that moved the market up from the low? I'm going to say, I'm just my opinion. I don't think retail moves the market like this. No, absolutely not. This is basically institutions saying, all right, we've kind of seen what we've needed to see in terms of the tariff story, at least so far, and here we're repositioning back in. Because I don't think, I mean, you're not going to convince me this is a retail move off the Liberation Day lows. So, Jag, you know, it depends on who's the talking head at the time, right? Like, you know, one person can say institutions hate this, the others can say that they like it. So,
yeah, it all depends, right? Like
I don't really know who you heard that from.
I've heard the same thing though. Our guy Tom Lee has mentioned that this is the most hated V-shaped recovery because of how fast it was, and people still have that negative sentiment in the overall market.
Yep.
And is it retail? No. Is the retail space growing? It is, but I don't think there's just not enough buying power in order for us to move the market like that. But there obviously is some institutional buying. It's just that a lot of investors and these management companies just are underweight and aren't in as aggressively as they would like to be and weren't expecting this move that we've experienced 40% off of those Liberation Day lows.
I don't know how to say your name. Tak Etsu Say Tak. MP would ship the rare earths to China to be processed. MP, very speculative. Yeah, I've heard a lot about that, actually, that they don't actually have the refining capabilities domestically to do that. But is China the only one that can refine? And if that is, I think that's obviously a very weak part of the overall system that definitely needs to be addressed. So I'm not saying what you're saying is accurate. I'm just reading out your comment. Let me know exactly if you have anything more to say about that. Yes, I can read. Your name is Tak. All right, guys, took a quick print there on PROK at 545 as that seller got shaken for a second. We made a quick 1 second move into 546, but this is what's keeping me optimistic about this. As you can see, we're putting in higher lows, but we don't have enough juice to take out that $0.50 quite yet on PROK. So I'm going to continue to hang out in this position. It's a bigger position for me over here at back into 45s. It's a 47 high there. We're still not getting any prints as the seller, a hidden seller, comes in at 47s, 1 penny spread now. Let's see if we can continue to squeeze up here on PROK, waiting for that $0.50 break that we're going to have to continue to wait for because it rejects again in the high 40s. But again, keeping me optimistic that we are putting in higher lows and higher highs, but knowing full well we are off that high. CLDI is making another attempt into a dollar area. It's been a good looker over here. Be careful with this one. This bamboozled me to no end, but it is approaching that dollar at 98 pennies and change. It did lose the volume weighted average price. It did lose 90 pennies. It found support over here, I want to say at around 87, 88 pennies, and we're about 10 pennies above that now, moving into about 98. This thing's up 40%, but it is a sub $1 name, and as a result of that, you know, I'm always a little bit hesitant to want to trade these because they are so thickly traded with many different price levels at which you can post sell orders, so it becomes a bit of a heavier trade until we can clear some of the sellers there through the dollar. But that's by no means the end of the story. Once we get above $1, there are other issues that we've got to deal with there. All right, TORO, excuse me, moving right back up. We got a nice position on this one, not as big as PROK, but we're going to wet the beak, excuse me, at 15s, and I'm going to wet the beak again at 20s. So we can take out some profits there. This one's been awfully respectful of either the 10 or the 20 on the 5. So let's continue to watch this one. I've got the 20 order there as well as the 25 order. Back to PROK because we're back at 47s, and that seller at 47s is back again. Can't shake them, but we are putting in higher lows. So who knows? I mean, a bigger seller could come here, drop this below VWAP, and they could get stopped out, or a bigger buyer could come here and blow this through the $0.50 and that could get printed. We're gonna have to find out exactly what is happening. Boot Burner says proc is stalled for sure. Maybe we'll get another run at next week. All right, maybe I'll just hold this position to next week. I'm gonna have to talk to the big boys over there because we're not allowed to hold overnight. Joe.
Oh, all right. I had a little something to say, but I guess I forgot. But that's okay.
Something?
But no, it was yeah. You said you can't shake this one. I was gonna say, well, yeah, we can't Abby shake this one here.
Oh,
ooh, I'll be,
man, I gotta show you what this guy looks like.
No,
man.
no, I don't.
Oh, bro, he's an interesting individual.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show the chat, but I'm gonna show you.
You ever have those people you're just like, man, I don't like your face.
Yeah, he hates me. It's so funny.
Like, I don't like your face, man.
Abhishek. Oh, bro, you guys see this guy? I don't want to bully him in front of everybody like this, but like he deserves bullying. He's a jerk. Hold on. Yeah, you could tell what kind of person he is already, right? Hold on. I think there's some more pictures down here.
Doesn't really.
Is he like, look at this guy, bro.
Is that him? Yeah. Oh, damn. Oh, man.
He's a handsome guy.
Yeah. Handsome fella.
All right, guys, I gotta take this over here because we are breaking out finally on PRO. Give me my money. All right, here we go. Moving into the high side, taking out that $0.50. All right, we got a nice position on here, guys. Let's see if we can take out some more 57s now, showing me a bit of a seller. I'm waiting at 65s next. I think I'm going to take out a little bit here at 60 just to wet the beak. Let's see what PROK has in store for us over here. If we can clear out some of these levels, we'll make some money back. There we go into 59. Are the buyers going to support this move up? Into 59 again we go. There is a hidden seller, as there is almost on every level. We show 60s, we clear 60s. I don't get printed as the spread opened up. That's all right. We're back into 59, and that seller is showing up at 60 here with a nice sell order. There's about, I want to say, a little bit less than 1,000 lots posted at 60. Let's see if we can clear some of those. We're eating up some of those orders right now, but that seller kind of very, very persistent at that 60 penny area. We can't shake them. Let's see if we can kind of take out that level and then maybe take out 65. There goes 60. All right, now we're nicely in the money on this one and making some money back. Let's see if we can get up to 65, layering the orders over here on PROK. Toro is also breaking out finally to the high side. Let's set up here at 29s, and we're going to also set up at 32s. Let's see what we got over here on TORO. Joseph, it just printed a new high day at 28 Adara.
I want to let you guys know here, we have a new infographic on X at TTV Research. This fun jean background here, of course, very fitting for Levi's. They're reporting after the bell. You can catch that with Sean and myself at 4 p.m. Eastern here on Trader TV Live with the market recap show. But yeah, here's this infographic, and definitely follow us on X at TTV Research for more posts and information. I'm currently working on a master post kind of tracking the history of the relationship between Jerome Powell, Fed chair, and President Donald Trump, because their feud actually goes back a lot longer than you might think. Make sure to check us out on X at TTV Research, and back to the Bash Brothers.
Joseph Toro into a new high day. Take it over.
Toro.
You got it? You got something?
Yeah. Let's go here. Tesla's starting to break down. That thing's not working. Katina Man he's reloaded on some NVDA there, so he's long NVDA. Oh, props up there. Props up. So yeah, a really good look from my guy. And yeah, Katina Man and I actually had an interesting conversation yesterday evening with the fellow at the security desk there. He's a young guy, nice young guy.
Saeed?
No, not Saeed. The other guy that comes after him. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, no.
And we're like, hey, do you own any Bitcoin? How old are you? He's relatively young, and he's like, no, I don't own any of this stuff. So I said, my friend, go home, do some research, do some due diligence. I'm not saying buy it, but get your money going to work, because at a ripe age of 29, you definitely want to do that. So there's no questioning. So hopefully he did. I highly doubt that he is. But I mean, why would he listen to me? I just walk in and out of the building. But yeah, I mean, I mean that's what we had going on. So yeah, thank you. I just wanted to get that out. It was on my chest, so I just feel like I had to release that.
That was
one.
great.
So,
I love how you qualified your qualifications there. Yeah. I'm just a guy in and out.
I do. Yeah. So, but I mean, that's what he's probably thinking. Like, who are these two guys?
See you every day though.
He does. Yeah, he sees me every day, and so maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but to each their own. But let's go see if we can take the second leg here in Bitcoin. Maybe we'll get involved in some small size on the lower end of the range. We're just extremely extended from the volume weighted average price, so we have to keep an eye on that. But one thing to note, look at the selling pressure on Bitcoin. That volume is really starting to decay, and that's a positive sign that we might be just taking a breath, and then hopefully we take an additional leg higher. I know Jam Lossy said 118 on Bitcoin. That would be fantastic, Adara.
Just a reminder, guys, we do have that 30-year note auction coming at 1 p.m. Eastern. This is just a heads up to keep you guys prepared for that auction coming up. Then at 1:15 p.m., we'll have Fed's Waller speaking at 2:30 p.m. Fed's Daily. So lots of Fed and economic updates on watch. Just give you guys a quick reminder as we send you back to the Bash Brothers. Back to you.
Yeah, that was funny, Martin.
Joseph,
yes.
Toro on the rampage to the high side here. TORO with another high of day into 337s. I took every print except the one that's waiting at 39s. We have 03s on right now on TORO. It's a strong move up, but we are getting a topping tail candle. Now, my question to myself is this going to be a fourth time that I get the opportunity to add at the 20 exponential and not add? I'm going to add at 310, and that's exactly where it's showing me the 20 exponential is. So if we get a retracement off this 328 area that we have now, I'm going to be adding into wherever the 20 exponential moving average on the 5 is. Okay, so that's the good news. The bad news is PROK has a breach of the $0.50, but down we go into 40 again, and the sellers are back in control here of PROK. So we get top wick into 560, but look at the selling, man. Aggressive selling, and now we've broken that trend of lower lows and lower highs. I want to say that 530 area seems to be where the buyers were stepping in last time. I'm looking at the 5-second chart here on my top screen. Certainly a lot of buying at that 530 area, and essentially has been, I want to say, since around 1225. So if we break below 530, I'm already long 529. That would be a good area to get out. That's one school of thought. The other school of thought is, well, this thing's been defending VWAP since it got down to it initially at 1150, so an hour ago, okay? So that level right now is 523. Why would I get out if it doesn't lose VWAP? So that's another possible, approach that I can take to this. So that's what I'm thinking right now about PROK. We just went from being substantially in the money on this one to almost basically just about 15, 20 pennies in the money. So as quickly as it gives you these small cap gappers, as quickly as they take away, up 25%. But I'm going to continue to see if this one wants to attempt another high day, 595. Just hoping that this wasn't the opportunity just to kind of get out of everything and end the story there. SQNS, I mentioned this one earlier, and it's looking fantastic, but this is blocked on our system. So I cannot enter this one. SQNS is not allowing me to enter. It's on the New York, boys, so I don't know why this one is not allowing me. But in any event, SQNS, fantastic look here on the day, about 40% in the green, right back into that 20 exponential moving average on 10 exponential moving average on the 5. A beautiful area defend, kind of a bull flag formation over here off that, I want to say 1150 pop. This one was moving in the pre-market. It had a good move up in the pre-market. It lost VWAP, so it was no longer of interest to me. Then once it reclaimed it around here and the volume started coming in at around noon hour, that's when I had eyes on it again. So this one, it fulfills all my criteria. It's above the pre-market high, above that 2 2/3, and it's above the volume-weighted average price, which is about 250. So it's got all the right ingredients. So if you're looking for something to trade possibly here, SQNS, if it's not blocked on your system, could be a good one here to the tune of 40%. Quickly back to Toro, Joseph, as this one working its way back into that 3 1/3 area, so we don't get anywhere close at 310 where I wanted to add. So TORO looks like it might continue to go here without me. The next beak wetter, 39.
Yeah, good look there, guys. All right, so we're involved in some IBIT there. I wonder what that was.
That hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah.
Give it some credit.
I don't know about that. But here it is, guys. Let's focus on the tape right now to see what we got going on. This is what we need. So we want the volume to slowly start to pick up. And then we need that, there we go, aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. And then we want to see that slowly start to increment higher and higher. So you'll see the flush on the ask at 14s. Now you want to see it flush to 15 or 17 or whatever it may be. be in order for this trade to really work out. So that's what I'm hyper focused on. There you go, 15s, we get a 15 print. And then now we don't want those bids to step in. There we go, 16s on the board. And there it is. This is exactly what we're looking for, 15 still on this one. Let's see if we can get another clean flush and break through some of these resistance zones. But we need the volume to start to pick up, and we need those offers to get slightly more aggressive there, guys. So there it is. Boom. We got those 16 prints, and we're looking for the break of the high here. We may or may not get it, to be honest with you, but we want to be patient. And if you want to stick with strong names, Bitcoin is most definitely one of them. So stick with that, and I think you'll be off on a good run. I mean, I tried to get in on the lower end of the range, but I'm like, I don't want to kind of miss this move. But if you do post up right here around 64.04, then you already have about 20 cents ITM. So that's something positive. There we go. We just open up at the top end of the range. That's a really positive signal. Ooh, and then we get those flushes to the downside. Sometimes you don't want to be too fixated on the tape, but at key levels, obviously in the opening drive and in the mornings is when I really like to hyper focus on it. But right now it is a little bit messy and choppy. You can see that displayed. But yeah, we're going to be patient to see if we can get that crack. So as long as we don't break 64, then I'll hold on to this position because I'm only going to give this 12 cents or so. So very, very tight risk on IBIT. Now, NVDA, I know Katina Man's still long in this name. He reloaded right down here around 163, I bet. And then now we got that pop all the way up to 163.40s roughly. So this is looking pretty good as we're trading above VWAP. But the Qs are looking relatively weak here, guys. Right on the lower end of the range at the volume weighted average price. So just keep that in mind. But
Bro, have you looked at Bitcoin?
Have I?
Yes.
Bro, I've been...
113.062.
Yeah, bro. We've been
Wow.
We've been here, my guy.
Okay,
I thought that was a rhetorical. Oh, you just gonna leave me hanging
well,
like
I know
that?
you're. Oh, my bad. I know you were in IBIT.
Yeah. Well,
I know you're. I thought you were fixed up on the price there.
No,
113.
Yeah. This is what we. I was like, have I looked at Bitcoin? Hold on. Show me.
Hold on.
I'm waiting.
Hi, Mom. Comma. Bitcoin made another all-time high. Period.
Bro,
113,000.
Wow. It's like that, eh?
It's every time.
It's like that, eh?
Every time,
and the text was sent just like
that.
that.
The way it is, bro.
Damn.
That's the way it is.
All right, then.
1%. I asked for 1%.
1%. How much percentage do you have in there?
Oh, my portfolio? I actually haven't counted, but I know how many shares I have.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
you know,
if
we
it's not
added that
1%, I
25.
don't hear it.
Eh?
I said if it's not 1%.
It's way higher than 1%.
Is it? Okay, all right, then bang. All right,
Yeah.
technology.
Technology.
Sorry, guys. One more thing. We're waiting for this. We're kind of just moving sideways, and one thing we don't want is a double top on this on the 1 minute. That's when it'll be displayed. But if it breaks 64, then that's fine. I have no issues with that. We had a nice trade on it earlier, and then also DAL was one of our trades here. So I'll take a little bit of a loss, dig into some of the profits, but that's okay. We'll most definitely find something else, or we just cool out for a little bit. We only have an hour left of the show.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah. So that's the name of the game. I'm not going to give away too much here, Sharif.
Okay. All right, guys. So Toro did come down into my level, but it didn't cross, so we didn't get the fill. I was trying to add at the 20 exponential. To be fair, though, to myself this time, it didn't actually quite make it down into the 20. It was kind of in between the 10 and the 20. I think it bottomed out at 12s. I was waiting at 11, so it didn't even actually get into my level. So right back into that quarter dollar it goes. TORO generally defending the trend here of higher lows and higher highs. We'll see where this one ends up on the day. It's up 44.44% right now. A lot of fours there, 44.68. As I see it now. So right back into that 30 penny area. 37 is the high of the day. I'm waiting at 39. I'm not going to take out too much too quickly so that we can actually, maybe make some money back over here because we're still negatory on the day. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. I'm only going to fixate on Toro and PROK. But I want to keep mentioning SQ and SQ, guys, because it is continuing to hang out at the high of the day. It's above the 10. It's just a little bit below the high of the day at 295. It's showing me 86s right now. So big move up here for SQ and S. And I hope everybody who was trading CLDI on what looked to be another attempt at the dollar was exercising sound risk management, because it got in and probably lured everybody into that dollar area thinking, oh, here comes the dollar break, and then all hell is breaking loose to the downside. It lost 10 pennies in the time it And the time it took it to like move 1 penny prior to that. So 85 penny area low. Be careful with CLDI there.
Just letting you guys know, we do have the 30-year bond auction coming through. I have the numbers now. So right before the auction, it came in here at 4.890 for the high yield. 30-year bond auction coming in at 4.889%. So once again, we have the high yield coming in pretty much exactly as it was right before the auction, because as mentioned, the previous number isn't going to matter as much as the number that it is right before the auction, Sharif always says. So yeah, guys, another really, really uneventful auction. Back to you.
A little bit of a break. Yeah. No, let's rock and roll here. Some interesting stuff. The guy that we were looking for yesterday, who covers Apple, Steve Kovac.
Yeah. Fantastic guy. Actually, I like him as well.
I like Steve.
Yeah. He's a super kind of like smart, techie, nerdy, but in a good way.
That's exactly
what I mean.
Yeah. Most
I like
definitely.
that guy.
A lot of
and
interesting
he gets
stuff.
a lot of heavyweight interviews. Like he gets sit-downs one-on-one with what's his name, with Cook.
With the Cook.
Yeah, with
all the tech giants.
What's his name, Tim Cook. And a lot of
he's done like Satcha too, hasn't he?
Let's talk a little bit about Tim Cook and company, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So overnight, analysts calling, I think maybe for the first time in a while, at least that I can remember. Maybe you guys can remember some other time, but for the first time in a while, Tim Cook now
in the hot seat.
In the hot seat. Well, he's been in the hot seat, I would say, for a little bit of time.
You think for the past couple of years?
Maybe, right? Well, I mean, we did put in all-time highs in December, so maybe after 6 to 8 months now, he's been in a bit of a hot seat. But being talked about, or analysts calling for Apple to replace Tim Cook and to replace him with a product guy. So maybe like the likes of Johnny Ive. Obviously not him because he's under contract now.
He's over there. Okay.
Exactly.
1 second there, Shreve. We'll hop right back into that conversation. There it goes. What a pop in Bitcoin.
Get it, Joe.
Let's go, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, and some more of that here. Let's take a little bit off just because we can't. Ooh, a nice little pop there. We didn't catch the hand. I'll post up just so I get the exact price that we want here. Oops, nope. That would have been a bad thing. All right, we can hop right back into that talk there, Shreve.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So they're talking about bringing in a product guy. Like, and I don't know if that would be enough of a move. I'm thinking you definitely need more of somebody who's going to be in founder mode. Because like Neil and I were talking off camera this morning, and Neil's like, look, man, you know, Apple could end the way of Intel. It could go the same way as Intel. And if you get that complacency at the top, you do not want that. But my response to Neil was, O'Leary, Kevin O'Leary, that is, he used to be on a show in Canada, a financial show called The Lang and the O'Leary Exchange. It was on a news network over here. And it was him and some woman, Amanda Lang. And I'll never forget this. Back in 2011, O'Leary was of the opinion that Apple would basically become the Motorola's, the Nokias of the world, the Sonys, the electronic companies that just become those low-margin electronics producing companies. But that never ended up happening, obviously, and that was about 15 years ago. And that was about 15 years ago. So my thinking was, I don't want to look at Apple as maybe the comps for Apple as like a Motorola, a Nokia, Panasonic, a Samsung. Well, not Samsung. But at the same time, what would it, like if Apple was to decline, what would that decline look like? And what kind of person could come in to possibly save that from happening? To me, it would be someone more with a founder mode mind, right? Who wants to start, like, I don't want to say starting from first principles because there's so much already built up on Apple with the ecosystem. You don't want to start from basics, but someone to inject that life of new technology.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
One thing I will say, I don't think, Apple has how many iPhones on the planet? Like, there's billions of these.
Yeah.
I don't think
Active.
Nokia or Motorola ever hit kind of those
I don't know
miles.
if that's accurate. I have no idea. We can find out.
We can most definitely find out. I don't know if that's the case, and I highly doubt that Nokia and Motorola had $100 billion in free cash flow either. Again, they're obviously lacking in the innovation, but for me, I think they just have so much capital that if you have a better idea, if they really wanted to spend it, they could just acquire whatever company that is better and exceeding them, obviously.
And that's a possibility,
right?
That's a possibility. We'll continue this discussion when we get back from Madeira.
Here is the Nasdaq, pretty choppy here. Just letting you guys know, Fed's Waller is talking. I wasn't seeing he was expected to start here until 1:15, but I'm guessing he's a little bit early. Nothing huge right now. Mostly just talking about the balance sheet and some Fed specifics, but worth noting that he is speaking. Also, fun fact on Amanda Lang, she actually went to the same high school as me in Winnipeg. Yeah, so obviously not of the same generation there, but it sounded really familiar, so I looked it up to confirm. Yes, she actually did go to the same high school as me, so shout out to St. Mary's Academy, I guess. Back to you.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's kind of my...
I do believe at some point, though, Sharif, we phase out of this, right? This handheld device, I think in a matter of years, is probably gone. Where is it going to go? What is that next thing? I don't know. Are you going to have like a holographic thing that points out your text message and you can move
Whatever
it?
it is,
like
yeah.
Tony Stark, or it's in your glasses. I think at some point the phone is phased out, but will Apple have the ability to adapt and grow with that kind of new incoming technology?
But you can't be complacent because you have an ecosystem and you've tied in a lot of people, but so has Meta.
Yeah.
Meta's got a monster ecosystem as well. One could argue more daily active users than Apple. I think we've got about 3 billion or maybe 2 billion. Maybe 3 billion monthly active. In any event, if Meta decides that it wants to be a device company, which it already is to some extent, they've got an ecosystem that's working for them as well.
Absolutely.
So just because Apple has the ecosystem, it doesn't give it exclusive domain over that idea, over that concept. So that's dangerous to say, oh, well, Apple's got the ecosystem, you know, they can monetize it as they choose, and it's just about, you know, buying your way or acquiring your way to that. I don't know if that's true anymore. And Meta's obviously got a lot of cash on hand. We've been seeing them splurge cash left, right, and center on these acquisitions of talent. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not selling my Apple position. I'm not, and I took 20% off at 2:30. We know that. But I'm holding 80% of my original position. And, you know, obviously that's taken up a lot of the portfolio.
Yeah, for sure. There's no questioning that. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, will they? I think they do get it right.
We'll see.
But see, they have a plan B, which is kind of alarming for me. Looking for those deals, whether they're going to use, I think it was Anthropic or Scale AI or OpenAI, whatever it was, those two deals. So that there is a plan B in place. But if we're going to talk about this, there is names like Google. This AI and how the phone can now, the agentic side of things is absolutely phenomenal. And there's no questioning that Google has started before Apple on this and are now leading in it. But take into consideration, Apple really only started a couple days ago. Yeah, exactly.
Take those profits, my boy. Good trade there,
exactly.
man. Good luck there.
But again, Apple's lagging, but they did only start a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
In all fairness.
Yeah, and the other side of that, obviously, is they're always late to the party. And one could say by design, so that they can continue to watch how things unfold. And go ahead.
Well, we know that they're usually typically late. Yeah. They're more than fashionably late at this point. They're literally years behind on what's going on. But can they play somewhat catch up? I think so. But to add to the Google point, so now the Gemini Live is available directly on your home screen. The multi-model can use visual, voice, and text to interact. So now you can use that to interact with Gemini. So leagues ahead of this, and new AI photo editing, not that big, but Gemini assistants can read your screen and use your phone for you essentially now. Which is really, really big. I think it's a massive step.
It's absolutely, and I think OpenAI's has had that kind of stuff for a while, but obviously they don't have the ecosystem Meta has or Google has. So
I mean, and Microsoft was invested in OpenAI years before anybody even knew what it was.
Hey Google, subscribe to tradertv.com.
Ooh.
Sorry guys, my bad. Fabian made me do it. So you guys can blame the Chilean nightmare. Hypercube, Meta becoming a device company seemed inevitable until the stock tanked and they pivoted towards AI. Once Llama improves, they will focus on devices XR again. My man, have you been around lately? They have been really focusing on devices. I mean, the Meta glasses. Have you seen some of the Orion, what's it called? What are they called? Are they called Orion?
The Orion.
Orion. They're prototypes as well. Those actually project an image onto the screen, not just listen and watch and all that kind of stuff. So I think Meta, I think what you're talking about is investment into what's it called? Their reality labs, which is obviously a huge loss. But that's not the only focus anymore. It's not just about the metaverse. There's overlap now between the metaverse and AI. And I think that they're really focusing on becoming like a device company. And one of the reasons I think they're really focusing on becoming a device company is because they're sick and tired of being told by Apple and Google what they can and they can't put in their apps. And Zuck has made no bones about that in all the interviews that he's been doing. He's been talking about that very specifically. He says he comes up with good ideas, only be told by the gatekeepers, so to speak, Apple and Google, that no, you can't do it this way, or no, we don't like it like that, or change this. So he wants to be master of his own domain, so to speak, and we'll see if he. I think he'll do it. I just don't know if he outduels Apple, but you know, he's definitely got a good start.
That's right. This is some epic stuff, if you ask me. Like these hyperscalers, these mega cap tech stocks are going head on against each other. Who can strike the best deal? Who can come out with the best product? And this race is going to be long. I think we don't even understand the true potential of AI. Right? Like, I think it's absolutely crazy. We're still using LLMs. What happens when these things go into Optimus bots? How is that going to work?
Absolutely. And I made a video on my TikTok yesterday where I was just basically ranting about the things that you rant about all the time. I'm in Tesla for what? No, I'm in Tesla for Optimus. I'm in Tesla for the Robotaxi. I'm not in Tesla for Elon to take, shots at Donald Trump online or want to start his own party. I'm not attacking those ambitions. Maybe they're noble and maybe they're right. But he has to understand that he's a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, a Mag 7 company, and there's a lot of people that are throwing their money behind him, and they want that money secured. So even though he's looking long term, and I get that, and I respect all that, he also has to look at the other side of the coin, and the shareholders need to be respected as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we know that the stock is already volatile as is. We don't need him to add into the volatility whatsoever. It's just like, come on, man, just focus on what we got going on. Bitcoin is nasty right now. I'm going to take my last bit out right now. There we go. Boom. And new high a day, baby. I was going to show you something there, Sharif.
You got, baby.
We're cooking up on those contracts. Look at that right there, baby.
My man is up big. I can see that number right there. He's up big. That's a personal account, right?
Yeah. Bang. Let's go. Yeah, that's why we got those. Now we're starting to sell off a little bit here, but that's okay. We got this breakout. This was just an additional move. Nice consolidation. I'm like, man, we're so strong and we're not selling. We just sat. We tried to get in on the lower end of the range, and then boom, we just take this move. And I should have posted up at 64.60s, but we didn't, so that's okay. So that's what we got going on with this one, a big time move in Bitcoin. If I look at my long term, that thing is cooking up. But yeah, thank you to the contracts I bought. That's crazy. I can't believe I was just about to say that.
That's big boy money this day.
Yeah.
It's a big boy money.
Yeah. We're up nicely, but we want to let this cook, Sharif. I mean, I'm not in these things for that amount. I want to see it substantially higher. Again, I'm not being greedy. It's just a trade plan, right? That's all it is, and it's just executing with size. And what I'm using is just contracts to leverage my system.
There you go.
It's that simple. So.
There you go.
Maybe not that.
All right, guys, as I was mentioning to you earlier, SQNS is on the warpath to the high side. It is at 295. It is at the high of the day. Correction, 296. It's taking out highs as we go. It's up 43%, almost 43% on the day. It's been absolutely respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5. There's almost been no breaches here on this ascent up. This is kind of what I'm looking at. Pardon me. Over here, there we go, right back into the highs on SQNS. So we'll continue to watch this one and let you know what it is up to. But I personally see this as a bull flag breakout with possibly, that the breakout there happening above 3. I kind of don't like when the top end of the bull flag is a little too close to a psychological area of resistance like this. But the market doesn't seem to care. 299 high right now. It's about to take out 3. All the defends here off that green line are the retracements into the 10 exponential moving average, all of which defended. So SQNS, a great looker on the day. Be on the lookout there as it hits $3. Fantastic look there for SQNS. Still holding Toro at 3.25, but I'm thinking about flattening out here as we've now gotten 4 candles, or 5 now with lower highs. It feels like this one is kind of losing the bid a little bit over here, as well as We're still holding here nicely on PROK. I'm looking for another spike up here to kind of take out some of these orders that we have. We popped up, I should say, into the 560 area, dropped back down to 530, defended 30, and now here we are again at 40s on PROK. So we'll keep tabs on that for you guys. So yeah, SQNS, really the best looking one of currently, Joseph. So not a bad look there. Anything you got before we start the news?
No, let's fire into the news. I want to get into this here today.
All right, let's start it, man. We'll weasel up. So Bitcoin, obviously, we already talked about that. Fantastic look for Bitcoin. NVIDIA, everybody knows NVIDIA hit 4 trillion and then some yesterday. Let's talk a little Delta. So Delta did its thing 25 this morning when it reported earnings. Oh, this is nice.
This is nice.
All right. The boys taking care of business. Shout out to Mark and Rob.
Standing on business.
What happened, Katina, man? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you guys see the boys putting the curtains back there just so that the shenanigans behind us during construction don't interrupt the show as much. So that's what the boys are doing back there. But let's do the news. So Delta slashed its full year 2025 earnings per share, EPS guidance, back down to 525 to 625. That's down from the 735 plus that it had guided back in January. But as we know, CEO Ed Bastian had pulled guidance because of demand concerns with tariffs. He also cited a soft consumer, a glut of capacity, though bookings, he says, have recently stabilized. The airline sector, though, broadly is a little under pressure here, with rivals also pulling guidance as well as reducing their flight schedules, which is not a good thing. However, he still sees, Ed Bastian that is, still sees a possibly strong summer going in here. He called for a Q3 EPS guidance of about $1.25 to about $1.75. That's well ahead of the consensus estimate of $1.31. That's a midpoint. By the way, revenue expected, though, to be flat at about 4% year over year. But that, again, beats what the street was looking for. The street was really kind of dampened in their demand, or in their outlook there, with only a 1.4% growth forecast. So 4% decidedly above that. But he noted booking behavior, for whatever reasons, kind of changed. He says travelers, for whatever reason, are waiting way closer to the actual travel date to book their departure, which is kind of impacting their strategy, their yield strategy. So they can't really schedule flights based on what is the demand, or what will be the demand, but currently what is the demand. So throwing a little bit of a wrench in his plans. He's seeing strong performance, though, from the premium seats, as well as the American Express partnership. So people with money don't seem to have problems. Just let's call a spade, okay? The premium product revenue, so like the premium economy, business, first, all that good stuff, that's up 5% year over year. Then you look at the economy, or the main cabin, down 5% year over year, as well as the American Express revenue jumped markedly, 10% growth year over year, to the tune of $2 billion, reinforcing the trend towards the high spend travelers. So when you want to know why more and more of the airplane is first class, well, it's because they're making more money off first class. Goes off without saying. Now, with their actual earnings report, they beat on the top and bottom line. EPS 210, the street wanted 205. Revenue 15.51, the street was looking for 15.48. Net income, so their take-home money, surged 63% year over year, Joseph, despite margin pressure. He's now saying there's margin expansion despite yield pressure. So not a bad look whatsoever for Delta.
Yeah, absolutely. Good look there, guys. And I want to take a look at this from a technical perspective, too. So not only did we exceed that expected move, you've seen a little bit of the continuation in the intraday pattern as well, too. So what I was keeping my eye on here was as it opened up, you blow past some of these lower highs right here, and then sure enough, you establish a gap. And then now this is a key pivot. I think this is going to be a really important and a pivotal moment for Delta Airlines. You break through that, and you have the ability to hold that isolated pivot right here, because that's essentially an island pivot, you would like to call it there, Sharif. Pivot. Yeah, shout out to those guys. I
never want to see that guy box ever again.
Did you see what happened to him in Charleston, White?
No, I saw him throw hands with some guy, and it was like he just walked away.
Yeah, he quit. Yeah. quitter, and those guys want to play tough. But no, in all reality, here it is, right? You have the ability to sit on top of this as a positive earnings report, good outlook as well. Then you can get some continuation in Delta Airlines.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about OpenAI and their attempt, not attempt, I should say, looks like they're doing it, to unseat Google here, or Google Chrome as the #1 browser. So OpenAI is preparing to launch its own AI-powered web browser, apparently in the coming weeks, aiming to transform how people interact with the internet. That's a statement right there. The browser apparently will integrate GPT-style interactions directly into browsing, reducing the need for traditional site navigation. This is actually quite interesting once I get into the nitty-gritty here, which we will in a second. The browser is going to challenge Google Chrome, which is a key driver of Alphabet's ad revenue, as well as their user data collection. We know about that, and that's worth billions, baby. If OpenAI's 400 million weekly active users adopt the browser, this could fundamentally disrupt users or Alphabet's ad targeting, as well as their default search dominance. So be on the lookout for that. What I really like was the incorporation of agentic AI into the browser itself, not as a separate add-on. So OpenAI's browser will allow users to delegate tasks like filling out forms directly for you, making bookings directly, navigating content, all again via AI agents. Deep integration with OpenAI's tools like Operator. So if you have the paid version of ChatGPT, you have access to Operator, and that's their version of agentic AI. That'll aims to enhance that everyday digital workflow and productivity. So a good look there. Chrome, just so we have some data to support our analysis here, Chrome holds over 65% of the global market share for browsers, with Apple Safari second at 16. 65, 16. So very, very dominant position for Chrome. Other AI browsers include like Brave, the browser company, Perplexity's Comet, all launched this week. The funny thing is, though, this OpenAI browser is actually built on the same platform that Chrome is. It's called Chromium. So OpenAI's browser is built on Chromium, the same open source foundation as Chrome, Edge, and Opera. The decision to build a standalone browser, not a plugin for Chrome or for Safari or everything else, was driven by the desire, apparently, for greater user data control. And that makes sense because we see how Google really uses Chrome for data. And so if you're thinking, maybe I should be a plugin for Chrome rather than being a standalone browser, well, then you don't get all that data.
You don't get all that data.
So that's a look there.
That's right. No, speaking of the devil here, Sharif, you can see this name is moving pretty high on the day. So we broke through the high of the day. We broke through some of those pre-market zones, and now we're heading into 178.11. So that's a nice move that we're seeing in Google right now, guys. Let's pull up what we got going on here. So just as I was mentioning before, right? So just talk a little bit about what Sharif is. Gemini Live available directly on your home screen now. I think that's going to be big. So the multi-model can use visual and voice text to interact. That's another big step, I think. And new AI photo editing tools and more. Gemini assistants can read your screen and you can use that for it to use your phone. So an app to use your phone is absolutely phenomenal. So I really like that stuff. And I mean, progressing way faster than Apple. Apple only started a couple years ago, as I said before, and Google's been working on it.
Look at this guy, bro.
Hey, man, if you don't keep up, you fall behind.
Absolutely, man. Well said. All right, Tesla, XAI, and the Robotaxi push. Let's talk about this. So I love this. I wish Elon would just focus on this. Love you, Elon, but just focus on this. So he announced that XAI, Grok 4 chatbot will be deployed into Tesla vehicles. Katina, man, I know you're pumped about this. Very soon, according to him, possibly as early as next week. But he's been very liberal with the dates before, has he not? Like, yeah, Katina, man is ready. Grok 4 unveiled on Wednesday apparently is the latest, I should say, version of XAI's flagship model, and is said, this is interesting, to exceed PhD level. Oh, I'm not going to say that one out loud, Katia, but that's all you, baby. That's all you. I'm not going down that road. Oh, okay, so Fabian, there's a lot of talk about that right now. Fabian, you're touching on that point. I don't want to get into it, but Fabian, you're absolutely right. So let's go on here. XAI, now under Musk's X platform umbrella, because of the merger that happened in March, is aiming for tight integration across Tesla and X, leveraging Grok's multimodal capabilities. So that's the Grok AI incorporated into the cars. Now let's talk about the Robotaxi expansion, because a couple of headlines today. So Tesla plans to expand its Robotaxi service in the San Francisco Bay Area, apparently within a month or two, pending, of course, regulatory approvals. This aligns with Elon's bigger push to accelerate AI deployment across all of Tesla's ecosystem, vehicles, fleet services, digital platforms, the gauntlet. So I like both these headlines, and if they both manifest and come to fruition,
I think that's big. That's big time, right?
look, I'm already
First to
doing it
ever
in the
do that.
car.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm keeping the phone in the car.
Yeah.
And then I can have basically back and forth discussions with ChatGPT.
Yep.
Using the voice.
That's
so
sick,
it's hands-free. And the beautiful thing about it is, the memory updates now on ChatGPT. So everything that you've talked about maybe a week, 2 weeks ago,
It's still there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of doing that anyway, but I think it's a big difference once it's included in the car, rather than being on your phone.
That's huge. That's huge.
Right?
I think it's massive. This is what I'm talking about.
Go ahead, Joe.
We're seeing it's such a massive shift that we're actually living right now with
is,
this
yeah.
AI arms race, and it's
100%.
only progressing. I love to see it. It's kind of, what do they call it? Is it the fourth industrial revolution, maybe, or
Something
whatever?
like that. Yeah, they've been saying something like that, yeah.
Something along those lines.
Oh,
whatever it
Tesla
may
just
be.
sent me an email. They're listening to us, Joe.
What do you say,
I swear, look. See? You guys can see that, right?
Elon?
It's advertisements.
Oh, is it? You're like, Sharif.
Did the
Get it,
email
Adara.
tell
Shut
you
up,
to shut up, Sharif? That's what I want to know.
What happened, Adara?
I said, did the email tell you to shut up, Sharif?
Yeah,
That's what I want to know.
How did you and him both say the same thing at the
I
same
don't-
time? He literally just said that.
I didn't even
He
hear
literally
it. It's
said-
hard to hear in here. But yeah, shout out there to the Teslas. I
Adara, they're sending me emails about the Cybertruck. It can haul everything you need with an 1,134 kilogram payload and up to 5,000 kilograms of towing, Adara.
Oh.
I don't know enough about cars to comment.
What
but
was
it
that,
sounds
Rob?
good.
Don't drive too long, Rob. I know you love Elon, Rob.
Said water.
I
he
know
said.
it.
Don't drive through water, he said.
Don't drive through water.
Yeah.
No, but it can go into can go into water.
You ain't going to water?
Yeah, it can. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, continue, man. Let's talk a little Amazon.
Amazonia.
So Amazon looking at adding or perfecting, if that's possible, the NVIDIA chips. They're saying they heat up too much. So here's what they're doing. AWS unveiled a custom-built cooling system for NVIDIA's next-gen GPUs. We're talking about Blackwell here, guys, not the Hopper. These GPUs demand high energy, obviously, making cooling, effective cooling, I should say, critical to prevent overheating and ensure performance. Traditional air cooling, though, according to the company, methods are no longer sufficient for NVIDIA's latest Blackwell chip, hence why they've had to come up with this IRHX innovation, which provides scalable liquid cooling without overhauling the entire data center infrastructure. We know how these data centers are. They're hundreds of thousands of square feet, so that would be a big endeavor. Apparently, this liquid cooling alternative, or liquid cooling alternatives, I should say, were too slow to implement and or space or water intensive at the AWS scale. This IRHX technology can be plugged into both new and existing data centers, which enhances deployment and flexibility. And we know that Amazon's been engaging in custom infrastructure to kind of reduce dependency on outside companies, as well as boost operational efficiency. There's going to be that continued hardware innovation to widen margins and further maintain AWS's cloud leadership, especially with last time there, Joe, missing analyst estimates. I'm pretty sure that they want to get their house in order.
I think that's going to be really important with Amazon, right? We want to see what AWS is up to, and we've seen what happened with the likes of Microsoft when they beat, right?
Say again.
AWS
Yes,
when they
yes,
when
my
they beat,
mistake. Yeah.
when they beat. So that's what I'm looking for here, and I think they have a really good chance to do so.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I would never write AWS out.
Ever. There's no way. There's zero chance that you can write this out. Let's pull the screen up here momentarily before we hop right back into the news. Do it for the Vine says, okay, thank you. Do it for the Vine. That is old. SAR 1999 super chat. Thank you very much. But Bitcoin, man, what a move that we're experiencing today. And it's only up about 1.8% and still continuing to climb. BTC, baby, is right. Pizza Rat. BTC, baby. Let's go. Gorev, let's go. Adara, what do you got for us?
Sharif, I feel like they honestly might be listening to these news segments because this is the second time almost in a row where we get a story about an issue you just covered right after you cover it. This time it's on Tesla, TSLA. Bloomberg reporting that Tesla has apparently reached out to the Arizona Department of Transportation regarding certification for operating driverless taxis. So looks like we do have TSLA trying to expand the Robotaxi service into Arizona. Again, right after we talk about Tesla's over here on the Midday Show. Interesting stuff. Back to you. Hi.
Weasel in. Robotaxi comes to Toronto. Are you a first rider, or do you want to see more?
Okay, I want to wait, and I have a reason for this. So I know they are a little bit iffy sometimes. You've mentioned your experience with Tesla self-driving technology. So I can't drive and don't drive because there's a risk of me falling asleep. I don't want to fall asleep in a car and like, oh, we're on the highway and it's like a headline. I don't want that. So I want them to be have a lot better efficacy rate before I jump in. I am not opposed to it, but I have, I think, a pretty understandable reservation.
Hey, I know you're trying to
in
catch that.
In a second.
You're trying to catch that,
bro. I'm talking about going into eVTOLs. You don't think I'm going to go to a Robotaxi? I got no problems with that.
Yeah, I'm in there all day.
Let's get to these super chats before we go on. Anto SAR. What's SAR again? SAR. What is that? South African Rand. I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure.
I have no idea.
Do it for the Vine coin. Elon Musk. Bring back Vine is what I would say, man. Those were the best 7-second videos ever.
Ever.
They were sick.
Those Vine.
There he is.
I'm really rich.
Shout out to Big Spile. $4.99 super chat. Sharif chatting. Oh, I have to read this first. Okay, thank you, Adara. Adara vetted it. We're good to go. Big Spile is a liability. Everybody knows that. Sharif chatting with a robot while in his car. Call me crazy, but I like hollering at them ladies while I drive. Blue collar holler. Look, you do that over here, you're getting put on phone, then you'll find yourself
Or they just
online.
yell at you. That's what I do. I'm just like, leave me alone.
Like, who's that? Who's that creep? Yeah, you cannot do that here. They don't put up any.
Yeah, I don't know. This newer generation, bro, it's a different world. Yeah, no, I saw a construction guy holler at a woman today while I was doing my walk. Yeah, so he slammed something down the ground. It scared her. Yeah. And then he obviously took the opportunity, to apologize and everything there.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But no, in all reality, the success rate for that is probably, I'm guessing, extremely low. If a little car hauler, I don't know.
No Big Spy might have a trick or two up his
You never know, man. It's all about
there,
the game. If you're coming out smiling, you're a little giddy and everything along those lines. But guys, we got another poll up here from my guy Fabian. Your go-to browser for watching the market burn, Fabian. What kind of
we're making all-time highs, man.
Burn.
Where's the Chilean Nightmare at,
Are you using Chrome? Are you using Firefox, Safari, or Edge? He's hiding because he was literally just talking in my ear.
I don't know where he went.
Where'd he go?
What are you using?
Bro, you already know what I'm using, brother.
He uses Edge.
Yeah.
Okay, look, Joe, I'm not going to take shots at you.
Yeah,
when I bought my new computer during COVID, the trading computer that I have, I didn't install Chrome for maybe like a year. Yeah. So I was using Edge constantly. Yeah. So I'm not going to hate on it.
You can't hate on it,
I'm not going to hate on it.
Come on, man. I like it.
But I got to tell you, I might be switching to Safari. You want to know why?
Why?
Doesn't collect data.
Oh, I've seen that.
Apparently, they don't collect user data.
Yeah.
Whether you believe Apple or not, that's your prerogative. But that's what is being said or advertised.
But how are you going to get all those ads that you're looking to watch?
I know. I'm going to be really upset not getting the ads. It's going to suck. I'm not going to know how to deal with it.
Okay. Google is really nice.
All right, let's go on. With AMD, good look. Let me just make sure we got AWS out of the question there. Yes, AMD getting an upgrade today from our good friends at HSBC. Analyst Frank Lee upgrading them to a buy from hold, citing confidence in their growth trajectory. He set a new bull case, a street high price target, guys, of around exactly $200. That's the highest amongst analysts. The street average 12-month target is about $134, which implies about a 3% downside from the current price. More than that, because NVIDIA is up 4.25% on the day. AMD holds an outperform consensus rating among 52 brokerages with an average recommendation score of 2.1 out of 5. It's on a 1 to 5 scale. Just to give you an idea, their data center revenue, their biggest growth driver, $3.7 billion on the quarter. That was up 57% year over year, led, I should say, by their EPYC CPU as well as their AI accelerators. The AI tailwind, though, continues to drive the hyperscaler demand and the higher margin product, obviously, because it's the top of the line processor. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows for them, guys. SQNS is taking out all the levels, guys. This thing is on the rampage to the high side. SQNS, be on the lookout for this one if you're trading small caps. It just got into the high of the day. This thing's on the warpath right here, 340 high a day, and you can see no breaches whatsoever of that 10 exponential on the 5. This is blocked on our system, so I won't be able to trade this, but keep your eye on it. It's now up 62%, Joey.
Good look there, guys. New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading?
Yes.
Scan the QR code or check the link in the description.
All right, let's talk about some of the headwinds that AMD could possibly encounter. There are export restrictions on their main chip, their MI308, which has obviously put a dent in their 2025 revenue, about $1.5 billion dent that is. But $700 million of that hit was already taken, so it's already been accounted for on the books for their Q2 outlook, okay? So almost half of that $1.5 billion has already been accounted for in their earnings. Q2 revenue guidance, though, about $7.4 billion plus or minus $300 million quarter over quarter. Again, giving themselves some leeway there because of the export controls. Their operating expenses as well continue to climb as they invest more in R&D. It rose 28%. Their operating expense, 28% year over year. As a result of R&D and as well as their go-to-market initiative. So some things to be cautious about there, Joey, but you got to say, overall, it's been a much rosier picture.
A really good look for AMD the past couple of months off of Liberation Day lows. Absolutely. And we know the MI400 is coming out in 2026. It is, so that's a positive sign there. And just to sidetrack on what's going on, what I was looking at with CAT, it's kind of going back, but there's so much fueling this AI drive, this AI movement in the overall market, and AMD's a part of that. So just kind of going back a little bit. So what's going on is that, okay, we're building all these data centers. You're having all these massive moves in these things and investment. They have so much cash on hand is that they need to invest that. And we're seeing that in the likes of companies like Caterpillar. I know you're involved in that one. Just continuing to build,
what is that thing doing today?
I think it's looking really good. So
we're close to all-time highs again on CAT. Yeah, we're at 410. We're up big.
So essentially what I'm getting at is more data centers means more machines, and these big names need to spend this cash, and I think that's what they're going to start. They're going to start building. Right, continuously, not start, but continuously build these.
I just want to digress for a second. Yeah. So Caterpillar was always viewed as a cyclical business, right? And because of the cyclicality, there was a discount included into the price of the stock. They've made fundamental adjustments to that cyclicality by expanding their services revenue, which is not cyclical. The services revenue for Caterpillar would be things like repairs, maintenance for their infrastructure that's already out there. So I do love that aspect of the company, and I think the market has rewarded them for that because, I mean, we're floating near all-time highs, and it was a hell of a buy off Liberation Day lows. So keep your eye on Caterpillar. I think there's still more upside, but that's just my opinion. Yep. Let's talk a little bit about MP Materials, because I don't know where this thing is at right now, but it was up bigly on the day. We're up 47% still. So, what's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man's $1 in the money on NVIDIA, so keep your eye out on NVDA as it... Hey, he's flossing there. He's flossing with the Trilly Club. Shout out to the Katina Man. Talk about MP Materials over here, up big 47%, reaching its highest price level in over 3 years. The move follows the announcement of a public-private partnership with the U.S. Department of Defense. The collaboration here, guys, aims to accelerate the rare earth magnet supply chain development and reduce foreign reliance. Joseph and I talked about this a little bit earlier with respect to the Chinese rare earth exports as part of the trade negotiations between China and the United States.
Oh, did you say I'm really rich or fake news?
No, he's
China.
China.
Oh, China.
All right, let's keep going here. MP, what they're going to do here is they're going to construct a second domestic magnet manufacturing plant dubbed the 10X facility. The plant will be backed by multi-billion-dollar investment package and a long-term Department of Defense contract. The location details are still pending. We don't have information on that, but the site will serve both the defense and commercial customers, much like a Palantir. You got to love that headline to diversify both with government and private industry. The facility is expected to start operations in 2028, so still a bit of a runway there. Once completed, though, their total U.S. magnet production capacity is going to hit about 10,000 metric tons annually. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't have a standard off which to base it, so I'm going to take it as good. MP also plans to enhance their heavy rare earth separation capacity in Mount Pass, California. The upgrades aim to further secure domestic sourcing of critical minerals vital to the high-tech, obviously, Joseph, and the defense sectors. As we've said many times, this province looking at expanding the extraction of resources around the Ring of Fire, which is, if you guys want to do research, there's a city called Sudbury, Rob, up there. They're apparently, according to astronomers, an asteroid hit a long time ago, and it brought all these different metals that seem to be completely out of place in the area. So that's why they're positing it's an asteroid that, or a whatever it may came from space.
Came from space.
And obviously, it takes a little bit of time to build all that extraction.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to add to your point, I think, and I was reading an interesting article as well too, that this can lead to an exponential growth in GDP for Canada. So so it's going to be massive. Yeah. So if these things really start to work out, you can see we're relatively flat. What was our GDP, like 1% or something, like a 0.99% or whatever it was? I think there's a lot of positive. There's a lot of tailwinds, I should say, for our country, especially if they decide that they want to start extracting and exporting liquid natural gas and a lot of these minerals. But for MP there, guys, a big time move. You mentioned 25% short float, Sharif, and you can see in the pre-market what a squeeze all the way from 30 bucks to 50 right
You got to assume some of that was, like, I don't want to say non-organic price action, but that looks like a short squeeze.
Yeah, absolutely. Like these candles right here are definitely people getting squeezed out. Squoze.
Rob, you're getting a lot of love there in the chat, man. They're like, we love the people dusting in the background, Rob. We love you, Rob. What?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, we need to iron him.
Ram. All right, I think we got one more over here. Let's do Taiwan Semi, guys. Okay. Taiwan Semi beats Q2 revenue estimate on AI demand surge. Surprise, surprise there. So Q2 revenue for Taiwan Semi came in at about 933 billion new Taiwanese dollars. That's about 32 billion, a little bit less than 32 billion US dollars. That's up, guys, about 38 2/3% year over year, beating both the analyst estimates as well as their internal guidance. So a good look there. The strong top line growth really here was driven by accelerated demand for chips supporting AI workloads. I don't know how much of that is pull forward demand because of tariffs. We'll have to wait, see if that even is the case. They continue to benefit from the global AI boom. We know about that as it supplies chips to major players like NVIDIA. Demand, though, for the cutting edge nodes and advanced packaging is surging thanks to rising data center and AI inference workloads. Their full, though, Q2 earnings release will be July 17th. So I think that's Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a preliminary report, obviously. The market is watching for updates to capacity as well as their AI-related revenue share and their full year 2026 growth projections. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Anything about Taiwan Semi, Joseph?
Taiwan Semi, yeah, let's pull it up here and take a look at it from a technical perspective here, Sharif. NVDA is recovering nicely here on the day. Why you got to do this to me? I don't get it. Why? There we go. Thank you very much. Embarrassing. TSM. All right. Yeah, there you go. You get that leg down here, guys, and then now essentially just forming this bearish flag here, or wedge, whatever you would like to call it, a flat top. A nice move, but then you have these higher lows right there as well too. So just keep that in mind. Let's zoom out from a daily perspective. Yeah, from Liberation Day lows, up 72%, all right? That's just where we're currently trading at, slightly more, maybe even 75, 76, 77% from the trough to the peak there. So, yeah, I mean, not a bad look in some of these semi names.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm thinking we can build the Cybe here.
You want to build it?
I'm going to build the Cybe. Let's do this. Let's show
No,
everybody
let's
how
build that.
prohibitively expensive
The
it is to
beast.
buy a Cybertruck in Canada versus the United States. Say that again, Ram? Was it gloss, though? Was gloss? Damn, girl. Take a picture. Because you don't use the phone when you drive. Of course. No. Oh, your TV show was on. She's watching TV in the car. I absolutely
That's
love
crazy.
it. Ram.
Ram, you're not actually watching
Menace
TV
to society. All right. All right.
madness.
Let's do this. Okay, so we'll put in the code there. All right. So there's no, didn't I tell you?
You can't even get the,
I told you
the
there's
beast.
no cyber. No, bro, look at this. There's no inventory. 200 kilometers within our area code over here.
Oh, wow.
And there's no, this is what I was telling you the other day. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, man.
Is he screwing with us? Like, what the hell is going on over here? There's no Cybertrucks available. I
have to
don't
buy
get
it on the
this.
secondary market.
Yeah, so this doesn't, it doesn't
So it won't even let you build it?
I don't even know, man. It's not letting me do it. I don't know what's going on with the, this is the Canadian website. I tried, like I was telling you. Like, hey, say that again, Fabian? Global leaders, yeah, global leaders. Yeah, so we can't build the Cybertruck because we have none in Canada. I know that's absolutely not accurate.
You can't
I've
even
seen
build
with
it?
my own eyes.
Because you can't build it, because we don't have any, you can't build it?
It's not letting me, as you can see there.
crazy.
Let's do it again.
Let's try it again then.
Let's try it again. So we go, okay, vehicles.
Vehicles.
So let's just say we want to build the Model X, okay? So we go order, okay? Let's go Model X. You build custom Model X. How come that didn't pop up for the Cybertruck? Something's going on. It's either a website or something. Like we go order, it's not going to give you the option to do that. Okay, there we go. There we go. Good.
There you go.
So now let's see how much it is.
we're going
base
beast.
price 140,000.
Going beast.
No, I'm not going beast. That's
Come on,
way too
man.
much, bro. No, this is like a serious build. So let's go over here. We're gonna put the bigger wheels on it, right? We're gonna put these wheels. I want the white interior, which is gonna force me into a $3,000 option. Full self-driving is $11,000. I don't want the universal charger. I don't want that either. Underseat storage, all-weather liner. I don't care about any of that. So now, let's go and explore financing. Let's go to lease, okay? I'm gonna put $7,500 down. $2,322 per month with $7,500 down, okay? All right, now let's go to America. Let's go Tesla, USA. Let's do this. We're doing it for All right, let's do this. Let's build the No, go back to, there we go. So we have to change. We go United States, and then we go vehicles. Let's do this, Joseph. Order. Okay, same thing. We want the all-wheel drive. We're gonna get the full self-drive. Where's the white interior? Okay, so you got to go down over here. Premium. So that, what does that have? Towing. I don't care about any of that. Let's put the big wheels, and we're gonna put the white interior, and we're gonna put FSD, which is $3,000 less in America, right? And then we're gonna go show pricing details, and let's see if we can do the financing. There it is. Edit financing. And we're gonna go lease. We're gonna put $7,500 down. $1,000 a month. How is this possible? How is this possible?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Bro, the currency difference is not that
Yeah,
much.
it don't work. So you got to go down to the States then.
It's more than double to lease a Cybertruck with the same amount down, more down, in fact, because you're putting $7,500 American, not Canadian. Like, it's insane. Like, someone tell me how this makes sense. Anyway, whatever, man. We get rinsed constantly in Canada, constantly getting rinsed.
Can you go down to the States and lease a vehicle and then bring it back?
Well, I can probably buy it somehow using my sister's address and her name and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
But who
yeah,
wants that headache, man? You know what I mean?
It's a
Like,
lot to go- Well, I mean, if it's saving you $1,300 a month, I think
I just won't get it, Joe.
Yeah,
This is not affordable for me, and it's insane, quite frankly. That's a stupid amount of money to be thrown at a car, and at least, I mean, you're not even gonna have it at the end of
What
that.
is option 2 for you? What are you looking at?
I don't know.
The Evoque, the Velar?
No,
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna get another JLR. Why do you keep forcing that on me, bro? This guy's been trying to force that out of me forever. I don't know why. No, but it's crazy. Slick 006 taxes in Canada, brother. That doesn't even include the taxes.
Yeah,
there's another
with
13% on top of that 2,200.
HST.
You have to add another 13% per month on that 2,200 figure that I showed you. Canadian version was in Canadian dollars. Yes, I know, my friend. Fine. Let's find out what $1,000 is in Canadian. How much is 1,000 American in Canadian?
About $1,300, $1,400.
$1,367, not $2,200. So
there you go.
Clearly, there's something afoot there that is no good. Any guys?
Good.
So that's the situation. Now it's going to basically price us out of a new Cybertruck. The only way would get one on the used market and finance it. And I didn't want to finance it because I didn't want to own it. Because I know it's heavy to sell. It's going to be tough to sell. So I wanted to lease it so I could just give it back, and then you guys deal with it. You know what I mean?
After.
And that's not going to be the case, obviously, because that's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little trades over here, guys. We did okay here on PROK. We've got 26s on. Just took the print there at 50s, but this is having trouble with the $0.50. As you can see, every time it weasels above the $0.50, it drops right back down. What's really kept me in this trade the entire time is this higher low situation. So if we can attempt a move into 580 there, maybe 590, that will be quite interesting there. We just built the Cybertruck, by the way. So 2,200 plus HST. For the same car, Katina man, that's $1,000 in the States. Monthly payment, $2,200 with the same options, everything the same, nothing different. It's just the way it is. Take it or leave it. Anyway, Katina man wasn't here when we were building, so I want to complain to him. That's the other one that we've got on. And then Toro, there's been a seller at the $0.25 here for, I want to say, the past hour or so. We haven't been able to shake that $0.25 despite the fact that the high of the day is 37s. What's kept me in this trade again is the higher low situation and what could be a flat top breakout. So I likely won't close this position once I go to the green screen. I probably will close PROK though, because this one's a bit more volatile and can get me into some trouble. But TOR, I'm going to continue to hold, Joey.
Yeah, good look there, guys. I mean, Bitcoin's just continuously establishing new highs here on the day. This thing has just gone absolutely parabolic. These are the types of moves that we want to see here. So, yeah, it's working out. There's two people in the chat who told me that I got out early. And then, yeah, you guys are right. So there it is. I got it all out here. And then sure enough, you climb another, 50 cents higher from this point. So a really nice look on IBIT. But I can't really complain, right? Like, obviously, you can have more. That's the thing about trading is, like, you always want more. You always want more. You always want more. At what point are you going to be, like, I get it. Don't ever be satisfied. Don't get too complacent. But you also have to be accepting of what you've done and the positions that you've put on. So there it is. That was our first trade on IBIT. And we go 2 for 2 on the name, right? And then you take another little scalp. Unfortunately, that we did miss that big breakout. And I tend to usually catch these on Bitcoin, but I just haven't been swinging like that as of late. But that worked out really well. And then we'll go over DAL. We'll go over our trade review here momentarily. But those contracts are just continuing to climb. It's been a really good day, and I'm glad that I executed relatively well for now. Things can definitely turn on a dime for us on that, but we'll stay positive and see if we can get into that 1 1/4 primary target there. So there it is at DAL. We enter this trade just going off of the earnings. You exceed the expected move. You look for the continuation. When I seen it hovering around the volume weighted average price in the pre-market, I'm like, perfect. You get that 5-10 minutes of selling or a couple minutes of selling, and then you head right back in towards the volume weighted average price. You're focusing on the tape. You get in, you join the strength, and then sure enough, you have the ability to just piece it out right there. And then we took 2 stabs on Elon and company piece of, there it is. But no, I mean, he's above, Tesla is above the volume weighted average price here on the session. Come on, let's go. It's not what we wanted. TSLL, thank you very much. Come again. Thank you. Come again. Sorry about this, folks.
I can take over.
Yeah, no, I got it right there. So TSLL, these were our only 2 losing trades on the day there, Sharif.
Yeah, in 2 New York cents, I feel you, brother. That's just the way it is, man. I mean, yeah.
With 2 NYSA?
Yeah, just about the price. That's not even, I don't even know if we have a federal EV tax credit. Do we still have one? We do? Federal? I thought they removed it. Remember they accused Tesla of juicing the sales before the cancellation of the credit? Yeah. So I think they canceled it, brother. I know that you guys are still getting that $7,500 tax credit down in the States, which could, I guess, maybe obviously affect the price there. So yeah, good point there, 2 New York cents. Sharif, I believe part of the difference is the 7,500, EV tax credit gets applied to the U.S. lease and not in Canada. You're absolutely right. We did have, I think, a $5,000, not even 7,500.
Yeah, it was 5K.
It was 5K, right?
Yeah.
At one point, but that's since been removed. And the accusations against Tesla up north over here was that before the removal of the tax credit, that Tesla sold a bunch of different cars suspiciously, this, that, and the other. So that accusation was being made against them. All right, quickly here, PROK coming down aggressively yet another time, rejecting that $0.5 area. But guess what? Believe it or not, it's still a higher low. So I'm going to just continue to move up my stop and lock in whatever I see here as the bottom. And then if it wants to take out that $0.5, fantastic. If it wants to stop me out break even, well, not fantastic, but we'll take that chance. David, $10 super chat. I appreciate you. David, for Sharif Cybertruck Fund, fully out of wolf puts needs circle to go down and hood to move like grease lightning. Shout out to you, David. Let's have a look. I'll look at circle, and you want to have a look at hood?
Absolutely.
All right, let's look at CRCL. Let's see what CRCL has been up to these past couple of days. I haven't been looking at it. First of all, let's start with a daily to see where we are post-IPO. Okay, so we found a footing. Looks like we defended that 170 area, and up we go back into the 200 range. We're still using what looks to be about 210 or so as a bit of a resistance level there, but you got to like how it did find some support at 175. Guys, this thing opened up at $70. Okay, that wasn't even the IPO price. I think the IPO price was like 30 something bucks, but that wasn't for you and I, that was for the institutional investors. With the high there being around 300, and now we've kind of found a bit of a base there. It seems to be at around that $200 area on the day. Circle, what's it up to? Bit of a consolidative look, Joseph. It looks like we opened up a little bit higher in the pre-market and have been selling off using VWAP essentially as our resistance level.
They're on circle. Good look there, guys. Tesla is, Hood's looking really great, Sharif. Tesla is climbing higher, guys, so keep an eye out on that one. Now north of the volume weighted average price, volume starting to kick in on that one as well too, so it may break out. But Robinhood, see, that's the thing here, right? This name has just been so phenomenal, Sharif, and we're heading back. It looks like, look at this slow curl over that we're experiencing on Robinhood, and it looks like that we might go and head towards that previous all-time high here. So this name has just been on a phenomenal run for a long time, and especially from these Liberation Day lows, up 224%. And then if you look at it from an intraday perspective as well, too, guys, you're up is your big time today from 93 all the way up to 97. So just sticking to strong names, it's been definitely, that narrative has most definitely been working. But guys, looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, SPY, or even Bitcoin, Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there. They give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in capital. Pick your path: instant funded, challenge, or pro account, and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, they've paid out over $10 million and earned 1,000 plus 5-star reviews from the real traders. Use the discount code TTV to save on any account. Scan the QR code or head to toponefutures.com. Start trading towards your next payout now, guys. But yeah, Robinhood is, I mean, we could talk about this name all day. They got a lot of good things going for them right now, and especially with the adoption of stable coins. So they're sitting in a really good position right now, Sharif.
All right, guys. 201. In case you're wondering why it's all dark behind us, the boys put up a curtain so they could kind of hide the chaos. That was good, Ray. I'll give you that one there.
We got one more super chat before we leave there. Yeah, we want to cover that one.
It's Anto again
Anto.
with 20 Swedish Rand, South African Rand. Can we check Vine coin chart? Is Vine coming back? What's Vine? Oh, I don't even know how to check that. I don't even know where to go. Do you know where to go for that? Vine coin? Let's do it live over here. Boys, you're okay with waiting a little bit, right? Vine. He wants it now. Katita wants to go down. All right, here we go. Let's check. I don't know. It's apparently some coin. Okay. What is this? What kind of time frame are we looking at here, Joey? This is intraday, it looks like. Let's go 1 month. Okay, we're off the lows there on your boy Vinecoin. Let's go 1 year. Okay, well, there you go. The 1 year is a little bit of better of a look there. I don't know, man. I don't really dig these meme coins. I kind of told you guys that. I'm looking at getting into a different coin than Bitcoin. We were talking about the Solanas and the XRPs,
yeah,
but I don't know how I feel about Vine coin.
No, man, just whatever you're looking to funnel into those, just buy Bitcoin, man.
It's art. All right, guys. It's been real. The big kahunas are that way. I'll see everybody at the green screen
It's
soon.
a spicy meatball.
Oh.
You buy no Vine coin.
The meatballs were spicy, but they weren't. You know, they were. Yeah, I got a little bit of a